Last time on session 5, the 4 ways of the city of Salt, we are in the lands of Animaesus and Tarasques. Things went a little sideways, I guess. But the day started around 12 p.m. on the third day of light in the year 697, where the group finds themselves back at their apartment, reconvening for a meeting with their landlord, Terry, for he has heard the strange noises from in and around their block for the last week or so, curious to see who might be living for free, wasting his money. However, before Terry arrives, the warlock, who is a warlock mouse himself, the group, who I've renamed the 4 Ways of Disaster, split, with Strike protecting his children deep within the caves, as he has been working on expanding to the tunnels of the tortoise that kind of are around below there. And Birdman is going to meet with his new client, Roxana, a dancer of the 13th house. However, before Eros and Cotton can meet with Terry, an agent who works within Cotton's smuggling rink delivers a message for the Lynxon's next job that they must gather a barrel from an ally outside the 5th house, a symbol facing eastward. Additionally, this barrel must be then delivered to the stage court's prison, where confirmation of this delivery will give a reward. Agreeably, the young Lynx and Rogue moves towards establishing this as their next kind of smuggling mark. But before they can leave, Terry arrives, and he searches the apartment for the noise and source of the complaints, but he's unable to find more than Eros and Cotton. Moreover, Birdman returns from his conversation with Roxana, and in order to kind of assert the dynamic and tension between themselves, Terry's familiar, in the meantime, goes down invisible to the caves to kind of inspect kind of these new recent diggings, but he's unable to locate anything. Um, and kind of backtrack a little bit to the conversation with Birdman and Roxana. The young woman's candor during their meeting at the Herald's Tavern nearby your guys' home uh, is one of arrogance and kind of like the sustained power that was wrought or created by kind of the wealth and sex she's been involved in the last couple days in the 13th house. She more or less explains as much to the young Kenku and that she had earned her money fairly, and now the 13th Binder Lord, Rexani Pelago, seeks 90% of her earnings for himself. Something about 120 gold pieces worth that she's earned. And yes, she did make it fair and square, but Eros knows this is not how the City of Salt works. And unless the Birdman agrees to assist Roxana, but he must launch a full-fledged investigation into the 13th House Binder Lord, a feat not so easily burgeoned, without dire and rightful evidence to prove to their guilt. Binder Lords are the elite. After learning of these next steps within this bloodied city, the 4 Ways of Disaster find their way to the Beast Crown and onto the 10th House District to return Angeles and Altapar's ear as proof of her deceived and secretive and false demise. Moreover, when they arrive, Strike chooses to watch the streets below, not wanting to further entangle himself with Altapar's conniving ways. That appeared to be a benefit of fate, for the Badgerman met up with Cotton after she located the barrel in the 5th district nearby. With that fortune of time, the Lynxen and the Melon make their way to the prisons of the stage courts in order to deliver Cotton's barrel. Simultaneously, Eros and Birdman receive their reward for dispatching of Lady Altapar and convincing her husband that she's indeed dead. However, Altapar is not convinced completely of how his wife's political and renown would trail on after her death. Definitely not until her compatriot Hardy is dealt with. Thus, the Keeper of Secrets asks for Eros and Birdman to verify that the Doorstess is indeed guaranteed within the walls of the stage court prisons. It seems fate leads the group together again. So Strike and Cotton arrive moments before the other two, Eros and Birdman, and they find complications arise very swiftly. Firstly, Cotton is unsure who to give, or even if she wants to give the 10 GP gemstone as passage to the delivery. And secondly, Roxana, dancer of the 13th house, seems to have been arrested right quickly. She is being taken as prisoner for stealing her own well-earned gold. Seeing this from many meters behind Roxana, let alone down the kind of perpendicular alleyway that Strike and Cotton's uh, happen to be coming from, Eros and Birdman give chase, hoping Birdman's interest and political sway as an attorney will free the young dancer before the stage courts take her hostage. Almost immediately, there is a shift outside the alleyway that leads them to these prisons. For Cotton sees an opportunity with the impending chaos, and she ignites the fire more by creating a distraction and chase around the front door and down the stairs. This gives Eros, Birdman, and Strike time to convince the guards that Roxana should be released. Accidentally and almost hostilely, Cotton did give the barrel to the right Tory, but not without great incident. The group makes away relatively unscathed, and when they return home, Birdman writes the correct treaties to free Roxana from that burden. You guys last time have gotten connections with Roxana's gold. You gained some gemstones. Also gave one of them away to a Lupin in front of the court, but you gained about almost 300 worth in gemstones for Lady Altipar's ear. And now we start the session same day. It is still the third day of light, which is the 12th month of the 18th month kind of year. Ending summertime about August time, honestly. You guys it's probably closer to 3 p.m., 4 p.m. in the afternoon, so sun is still bright outside, quote unquote, with the normal kind of smog haze that comes from the city up above. What does the group do with the rest of their day?
I mean, so we were all at least walking back to the house.
Yes.
Okay. Um. Well, Eros is going to continue going with Roxana back to the tavern to get her gold, and then go off to the 13th house. As far as the others, I don't know. I don't think Eros would start any conversations on the way back. I think she would be silent unless someone else started talking.
Okay. I imagine you guys probably stop off here real briefly, and the other people that are staying behind, Birdman uh, goes up to his room to get paper and whatnot, and is probably writing by this point. Strike probably goes to check on the children. You, maybe need to get a change of clothes or grab some water, a water bottle, water um, sack, whatever it's called, water skin, or whatnot, as you guys kind of stop by here, and Roxana waits down at the steps for you. Um, she ignites a small little dancing light to kind of follow because the haze of the afternoon gets a little thick at places throughout the city. Um, what do the rest of you do? And who does anyone go with
Mhm.
Eros and Roxana?
Well, I feel like
It's
you go first.
I feel like Cotton is still rattled from the event, like the earlier events. Maybe she would go with Eros if Eros isn't too pissed at Cotton, since I feel like Eros was more so worried, but it was very reckless what Cotton did. So
Well, it depends,
I would say,
what Cotton says to Eros then.
hmm, yeah, I think Cotton is going to leave some of her gear at home, like she doesn't need all of her weapons. And then she's going to come with Eros.
Alright. Eros. I guess Eros would change her clothes a little bit. Probably just put on like a gray
You might want to
t-shirt.
grab something for the evening when it gets a little cooler.
Yeah, I mean her jacket is pretty much a full sleeve.
Yeah.
But yeah, to more so cover up and like put on a yoga pants type shit.
Okay. And then you probably see Cotton trailing kind of behind you as you go down the steps.
Eros would stop on the steps and did you need something?
Yeah, I was thinking of coming along. I mean, I don't know the girl very well, but I want to help her maybe if I can, and I would like to come with you guys. But I know I'm still kind of I would understand if you wouldn't want me to come. You know, I've been kind of jumpy lately, so
Eros has this semi sad look on her face as you say that, and she grabs your wrist and pulls you into her for to hug and says, "Please don't. I, you can come. Just we can. Let's just talk about that later. Not now."
he says as she's still hugging her. Okay. I guess Cotton is yeah, okay. Cotton leaves the hug and but still continues to kind of walk behind them.
Like
Behind
Roxana.
Roxana and
Solitaire.
Birdman Solitaire.
Yeah, he's sad. He's really sad. He
Strike
like came home and was very like, I'm gonna go in my room until they leave, and then he hears them both leave, and then he comes out and plays solitaire.
Strike just makes some more coins for the Birdman. And tries to get the proficiency in woodcarvers.
You're making what? I'm sorry?
More coins for the Birdman with the woodcarvers tools.
Hey.
Okay. Start to get things ready for today. Set out a couple templates. I imagine the two Drow twins would probably assist you in that process in some way, shape, or form. The other three are busy doing something in the caves. That's all you're really told. From what the two girls know. And okay, Birdman plays solitaire. All right, we have a little bit of a walk to the 13th house. And
During that walk, Eros will say to Roxana along the way, like noticing like the dancing lights as well. So you actually were a client of Birdman.
oh, I didn't know if there was any seriousness behind the claim that he was an attorney, but I had no other action, I guess, to make. So I trusted my gut. I didn't want to involve you more because you have done enough, and now you do more that you shouldn't have to do, and Birdman goes in there and he writes these papers that look like beautiful pieces of art. I know little of these things that claim that I am free, and she just looks just stunned as she tries to like understand how things spiraled so out of fashion and then back into fashion so quickly, it seems. She's hopeful. She's very hopeful. And she kind of puts a hand behind your back and like kind of like pats you sort of and kind of leans in for a little hug. And as she gets close, whispers, "Thank you." And it's a real quick hug. You can see she doesn't want to make it obvious that she's hugging even to Cotton. And like it almost looks like she tripped or something.
Well, you wouldn't have to rely more on me if you just relied more on me. You asked,
She looks really confused.
if you asked me more about how things worked, you wouldn't be in this situation.
She nods. I hope this works out for you even. I have spent some of the golds, of course, but hopefully there's still enough to appease.
Look, it's people make mistakes when they come to the city for the first time. I'm not entirely surprised. I'm just more astonished that you would think it would be a good idea to not go along with the wishes of a binder lord.
I still only sort of understand what that means, because even he doesn't seem like anyone of any importance. Who would choose him to?
The way the 13th house works is that the whoever entertains the best and gets the money flowing is in charge. And flowing money is one of the best things for the city. And so, as such, that gives him influence enough to be a binder lord. So he knows one of the 13 words that will slowly unseal the Tarask. That's very high position. In order,
Someone trusted him with that.
if you could meet all the binder lords, you would know that trusting someone like Rexani ain't really all that much of a stretch.
I've heard rumors of 2 or 3 of the others. Most people don't want to talk about them, it seems.
Well, it could be a good way to get your tongue cut out if you
Oh.
talk about them in the wrong places. I know the 12th house isn't the most kindest of houses. I hear rumors about the 10th house binder lord. But I never actually got to meet him. He's kind of aloof.
And general knowledge, the only binder lords that are out in the open that most people know about are the 4th house. Because they recently had a shift, and this goblin guy, Thrundle, is kind of in charge now. The 5th house, his name is Anton. He's a 300-year-old gnome that just has been here since the city has started. And he's kind of involved a lot in things. And then Rexani. The other 10 houses, most of the binder lords aren't really talked about on a daily basis unless you're really involved in those. And of the people here, I would say Birdman is the only one that probably knows most of their names. The rest of you probably don't.
I was gonna
Might
say,
know descriptions.
have I met the 10th house?
Yeah.
No. What's he like?
He is. Let me scroll to remind myself. He is a Putori, a tiny ferret guy. Who was extremely drunk when you talk to him.
Oh, nice.
He lets Altapar kind of run the show. You definitely get that impression.
If he
Like
was
he's
drunk when I
there.
met him.
He's there to kind of hold the house together because the house is mostly Putori, mostly the ferret folk, and they're more likely to follow a ferret than a human. So he's involved in that capacity, where Altapar he's the political side of things.
If I met him when he was drunk, he probably met me when I was drunk. So
Mhm.
does that mean we're bros?
He's a very fun drunk, yeah.
Hell yeah.
He enjoys
Very cool.
yeah. He parties often in the 13th house. But there's so many Putori in the city that he can blend in relatively well, easily. And Putori are pretty small.
Not a lot of people know what he looks like, I guess.
No.
So
No. He blends in pretty easily. And Strike probably knows of the 6th house guy just because he's a melon. Other than that, Strike probably doesn't know too many of the other Binder Lords. Whereas Cotton, probably a decent number. You probably had to, with your
Yeah.
smuggling dealings, you probably know. You know names probably like Birdman does. He may not know all of them personally or met all of them personally, but you know who they are. Generally, they're, general descriptions just because you've probably in the last, 10, 20 years have dealt with them quite often.
Mhm.
So you guys arrive near the 13th house district and kind of go down the kind of streetway that leads to this very open area on the general. It's just the taverns are very open. They're not very closed in. Most of them have huge doors that are designed like doorways. There's no actual doors in most of them, so ease of flow of traffic in and out. And there's not really, because of the terrace, they don't usually have to worry about like winter conditions. How long the terrace has been seeping into the environment. It's a very temperate, almost tropical environment most of the year. While you're in the city and within the 50 miles or so around the city. Rexani it's early afternoon. He's probably getting ready, for the next evening of stuff going on. Well, I haven't changed the map since then, but that's okay. So, you guys would find him probably with a relatively empty kind of tavern here with Cotton and others. And then if you want to drop you guys can be here so at least you can see. That's more than fine. Let me get Roxana and
I think before going in, Eros would say, "If there's any house you don't mess with, don't mess with the fourth house, or rats. Just avoid those. Don't mess with the 12th house either, but fourth house for personal reasons."
sorry, my dog needed water.
Okay.
Fucking damn dog.
So
Damn dog. No.
pretty quiet. There's barely a half dozen people in the room. It seems, and Rexani's at the bar, just kind of washing glasses, getting ready for the evening flow of people. He does most of the work by himself. Eros would know. Like the general bar work, he seems to kind of enjoy that stuff. He has a couple, barmaids and stuff that help as servers when it gets real raucous later on in the evening. But he takes a lot of pride in those things, and as he sees you guys come into the room, he's just like, definitely sigh, narrows in, sees Roxana, and he is it's like, come with me back to the kitchen. Mm, you know, walks back through the door there. For you and leaves the kind of door open for you all. You can
Okay.
start to hear chopping and stuff as he's in the process of cooking.
I think while your dog distracted you, Eros warned Roxana not to fuck with the fourth house or rats. Just to let you know that
Okay.
she was warned. And Eros would make her way over, as long as the others are following her.
Cotton is she is kind of getting PTSD from the kitchen, but it's okay.
Soup?
There's no red soup? No.
There's always soup.
There's always soup.
Soup.
No, she's okay. She's just kind of thinking about it, you know?
Soup.
Kind of reminded of soup.
Soup.
There's always soup. What
Soup.
restaurant doesn't have
Soup.
Soup everywhere.
Soup.
You never know what the meat is made of.
Never know.
Soup.
Well, that was the other tavern.
Yeah, it was, but it's still a kitchen.
It's true.
It is still
Rexa-
soup.
Rexani has a much nicer kitchen for many obvious reasons than Green Dart does for the Herald's Tavern.
Especially because Eros works in the kitchen most of the time.
Yes. All the kind of accoutrement, many places for sous chefs and things to kind of help him when it gets super busy. But he's just, chopping up basic things you need for cocktails. Is what he's doing. Lemons and limes and different fruit and washing olives and things and whatever. So, and kind of, I wasn't expecting to see you here today, Eros. Neither Roxana or the sweet cotton.
I wasn't expecting to come in at all either. But, sometimes that's just how things work out.
I didn't know you guys were that close of an acquaintance, Roxana. Curious, it seems. Well, you obviously have something you want to say. What do you want? And he's staring at Roxana during most of this.
Look, I think we have all come off on the wrong side of the bed. And the shit needs to get cleaned up. Roxana clearly didn't know. She's new to the city. She toured it with that asshole caravan, and he doesn't know anything about the city, not really. No matter how many months he has lived here, I don't even think he knows how to strap his own boots together.
You mean Carol's Caravan? I like it. Yeah, I'll call him Caravan from now on. No, he doesn't know shit. He's been trying for years to claim he knows shit, but you've been here for less time and know more about how the city works. He kind of cracks his knuckles after he's done washing his hands a little bit and kind of turns to you with a towel and throws it back to the sink behind him over his shoulder after he's done. Caravan. Well, he definitely, no offense, Missy, looks at Roxana, had his own little harem or of a caravan of women follow him around, which I never quite understood. Roxana, you're making good money. I hate to see you steal something. And she shifts and bites her lip. You can tell she wants to say something, but doesn't.
Roxana, come on. We talked about this.
She doesn't say anything, but goes to her right hip and uses both of her hands to kind of untie the gold pouch that's kind of resting on her right hip there. And jingle clinks as it kind of comes into her hand. And It's a little. No, Birdman isn't here, so never mind. He's the only one that saw the pouch. So there's a decent amount of coinage in there, though, and I believe I've taken my share out of this already. If you will accept this as my apology, and I would love to still be able to work for you, Rexani. I think I can be an asset to everything going on. And Rexani looks and slowly goes to grab the pouch, pulls it out, grabs it, and looks open.
I insight check too. I might not know, but I just insight checked, like, is her body language saying that she's not giving the full amount, or
With the 15, she and Rexani. Oh, let me roll a. Oh, that kind of makes sense, I guess. I thought there was a little bit. Seems like the way it's right. But you're pretty sure by her body language and his unsureness of the situation, there's probably more silver in there than gold by this point. Maybe changed out some of the gold, spent more than she should have in the last little bit, or hid some of it somewhere to change out, kind of thing. Still, different options. Not really sure right now. Which one she would have taken, I guess, but if she spent that gold, it was probably to do something drastic. So you're wondering, because you're assuming this was a good chunk, like more than 100 gold, and there's probably more than 100 coins in there, but you're probably not 100 gold. So there's enough of that money being thrown around. I don't know. Is she gonna be stupid and pay someone off to do something stupid to Rexani?
Eros will very quickly get right up in Roxana's face, and with her finger, she's going to like lift Roxana's chin and be like an inch away from her face and just looking in her eyes. Roxana, I hope you know what you're doing. It would be very much a shame running her other hand along Roxana's waist up towards her chest. If this all went to waste over something as petty as pride, I can imagine many fun girls' nights we could have. But that requires us both to make good decisions from now on.
She gulps, looks past you to Rexani, who just his eyes wide with glee, seeing you just intimidating her, and Roxana, looks back to you. I cannot. One of my clients came back asking for his money. Didn't want to be associated with any of these connections. I apologize, Rexani. I had to give you more silver coins that probably don't equal the gold you deserve, but either I gave him the gold back, or I don't think I'd be standing here right now. But that seemed to appease the old bastard. So He pays well. Perhaps we can set up another appointment, and I can get that money back for you. And she looks scared, and she gulps again.
Eros, with the hand that was lifting her chin, like pushes, like brushes it past her cheek, pushing some of her hair behind her ear, and kind of leans a little bit so that Roxana could have a better view of Rexani as Eros tilts her head. Well, is that an agreement we have, Rexani?
Who is your client? I should ask. And Roxana looks between you three and looks to Cotton like confused. Saw Cotton do the daring thing that Cotton did and is just like, I don't know, like almost that desperation to see if something daring will happen again. I don't know. And then looks to
If
back
Cotton did
to
something, it would not be good.
No. So Cotton, what do you do?
Cotton, unfortunately, can't do anything because I have to leave because my friend is coming over and I
Oh.
didn't
I'll leave right now.
unexpectedly. I didn't know she needs a place to stay. I guess.
Okay.
But I guess Cotton. Yeah, I don't know. I feel
After
like
this
Cotton would.
scene, where would you go with Cotton? I guess would be an easier question if you don't have something in the immediate.
I feel like she would have to deal with the kind of failed mission. Maybe she would go. I forgot which house it was. The alchemist house.
The fifth
The
house.
number. The fifth house, correct? Yes. Okay, so
Okay.
it was the fifth house. I wasn't sure.
Mhm.
Maybe she would go there
No,
to
okay.
kind of. Okay.
We will either have a scene next time, or I'll let you know what happens with that.
Okay, thank you. I'm very sorry, by the way. This was not planned, but yeah.
No worries. No worries. Life happens. It's all good. Okay. So for the Cotton will be there until you leave the tavern, we'll say. So Roxana, not seeing any sort of relief coming from the cat, looks back to Rexani and is, I am not exactly sure as to his connections, if that's what you're wondering. But it was a human. And I know little of the city to understand those connections of what that would mean. And she's referencing houses and whatnot. But he was heavily tattooed, athletic and slim, bald, I, and eyes that were sunken in a dark and treacherous way. He only gave me a simple name. Red, he said. I did not understand exactly what that meant, and I knew it was not his real name, but yes. Based upon that description, you can roll with advantage because Cotton is here. In history or insight check to see based upon that description who might that make sense to be.
Hell yeah. My history sucks.
How do I word this? Humans are kind of free roaming throughout the city on the whole, but when the first immigration of humans came around the establishment of the city about 270, 280 years ago, the 12th house, what is the established 12th house now? The Drow hierarchy that started it all gathered a good number of the human populace under their wing, so to speak, and used them as their, lack of a better way to put it, daywalkers. Since Drow sun, not a good thing, most of the cases. So they paid handsomely, and there have been some established human families that live under the 12th house. That is the most likely idea for someone, because they also have a monk school that teaches a unique form of martial arts that requires their people to completely shave their bodies and do body modification and scarification and tattoos to, as best as you've heard it explained, fully realize the pain that it can be experienced in this world. The colloquial name for these guys are bloodbenders, but they are a relatively small sect, but they are supported by the 12th house.
Okay. Sounds like 12th house dealings. One of those bloodbenders?
Even Rexani sneers at that. You sense the disgust once that realization. You say that, and he fully realizes that too, because he's a good 5 to 10 years your senior. Been into the city about that much longer than you too. He's done a lot of work in a short amount of time. We will have to ensure, and he takes off his, kind of grandiose hat with the feather there, right? And he tosses the coin the coin purse in his other hand onto the table, and as he does, he flips his hat and does this grandiose bow to Ruxana and to you. I will not allow their return. And you get the impression, because you named them bloodbenders, that's the reason why he's doing this, not because it's this person who's bald, because you think it's them. Rixani has a line he draws, and bloodbenders are known to be cruel. They enjoy pain. They're sadists and masochists. Most of them. Is the rumors, at least. And although he enjoys providing pleasure, he knows that there are only certain people that enjoy the pain part of it. And if Roxana is not going to do that, then she doesn't have to meet with him again, is the impression you're getting.
He doesn't fuck with the kinky shit.
Like, if someone wants kinky shit, he'll find a girl that wants to do the kinky shit. You know what I mean? He's not going to, force someone to do that. He has a little bit of honor, I will say, when it comes to what he does.
That's understated.
He's not evil. Let me put it that way. He's not an evil alignment in any way. So, if he was evil, he wouldn't give a shit about that.
The man's just greedy. That's it. That's all.
He's a very, very strong, chaotic neutral, chaotic good. Leans very chaotic neutral is what he is.
He's like if Eros didn't care as much about people.
Yeah. He cares a little bit less about. He's also not nearly as wise as you are. You get the impression he's dimmed his wits over the years. He's a relatively smart person about how people work, but wisdom, not his strong suit. In any way, he can't. Insight is not his best thing, in any way, shape, or form.
Too much cocaine.
Yes,
Too
he's
much
done a
coke.
lot of drugs and partying. He's really good with people. Yeah, and he's a good performer, but he's also, in basic wording, right? As a halfling, he's got another 10 years tops in him before he's done, with what he's doing. Before he's just gonna not be able to compete with any of the people that just don't age like halflings do.
So then Eris will kind of shift around Roxana and will like have her body pressed up against her back while having her right arm over Roxana's shoulder and putting her face right next to hers, saying, "Isn't that great? Now you can still keep doing what you need to do, and you don't have to worry about one little person."
And her eyes stay on you the whole time, and she smiles and she blushes a little bit as you get that close. And perhaps we can arrange a dual performance. You can help me establish. I think we could share a similar style and flair. And she says that with hope. She knows that in this world where bards rule, like bards are one of the most powerful people. The more and more I get the feel as we play through this in this city, because what they provide to the city, that most important thing, the distraction from the shit that is here. Like they are such a needed tool for this city to thrive, that asking another bard to like give secrets or give techniques or teach, basically she's asking you to teach her how to become an eloquence bard, is what she's asking mechanically. If you would do that. If not, she's gonna go find someone else.
Eros would, with her left hand, kind of gently grab at Rexana's jaw to like tilt her head a little bit more, and would, with her right hand, kind of
Real quick pause. You hear a crunch from a carrot as like Rexani's watching this, just like with eyes wide, eating a carrot.
What's up, dog?
And her with her right arm, with her right hand, she's kind of tracing Rexana's bra like across the strap, and will say, "You want me to teach you what I know? I saw your dancing lights. I can teach you some things. I can have you learn a lot, but I won't go easy. I'll make things hard for you, because that's what you deserve. Is that okay?"
You're too good at this.
I would like you to roll a persuasion check with advantage, also giving you the first inspiration point of the game. So there's 3 of you now. I'm glad I waited because
Oh, right, advantage.
it's 12. Okay, and
That's 19 no matter what.
each of you should also have an inspiration to start the game with that new rule that I have already. So another 3 there.
Oh,
Alright.
but with the because I looked at the inspiration rule, it's only up to your proficiency modifier, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I can only have a max of 3. Yeah, so I got a 19.
19. That's right, because you're thinking. All right, I'm gonna have her roll. Okay. I whispered myself because that's more fun that way. For me, at least. All right, she. You hear there's another crunch from Rexani, and she looks over at Rexani, and she's just like, you can see she's starting to sweat a little bit, and she's, okay, I don't think I would like it any other way. Rexani coughs and chokes on some carrot. He's like, excuse me, I should get back to the soup.
Soup?
And he like goes in a circle and eventually like doesn't know where to go, and he like goes and talks to Cotton, and him and Cotton leave awkwardly. It's just getting a little awkward for them. And Rexani, like Cotton, I think it's also Cotton like leading Rexani because Rexani's like wanting to stay, and like he's about to like start to cast a spell, and she like grabs his mouth as he's about to like cast suggestion or something on you too to like so she's like no, we're not doing that. And
Not yet.
and that's more or less what he says to himself, like if you had and then he goes to check on some patrons and gets Cotton to sit down and grabs Cotton a free drink after he gets some drink. Um, Birdman and Strike. Let's go back to you. Let's see what Birdman and Strike do. Is there anything you guys do for the rest of this day?
Right now, just doing the woodcarver thing. So I think I
Woodcarver
should
thing.
roll something.
Hold on. Yeah, roll a woodcarvers with wisdom or strength or dexterity, your choice of the three, as you like are practicing this more to like kind of set in stone like the muscle memory, kind of thing of going through the process. Birdman, you get through a game of solitaire. What do you do with the rest of your day? Soup man. Somehow you okay. You heard someone mention soup off in the distance. And...
Soup. What's happening? Sorry, my microphone somehow got changed to push to talk. That's wild. What's up?
That's weird. You finished a game of solitaire. I was just seeing. I pretty much know what the rest of everyone else is doing for this day. So before we go to the next day, what do you do?
Oh my god. I guess he would do. He would. I don't know. I think he's just kind of bummed. He's like, I'm just gonna chill at the house, like read a little bit, and then just probably end up going to bed. He doesn't do a lot of.
Eventually, one of the kids probably will come in for snacks or something. See that you're sad, and depending on the kid, most of them probably ignore that you're sad. Except Althea, the little
we should
druid.
roll for that.
Leandra wouldn't ignore that either because
Roll a
she
d5.
Oh yeah, Leandro is too. Leandro's very empathetic.
Roll a d5.
Do it.
Roll a d5 to see which one comes in for snacks.
Oh god. My numlock not on? Dude, I am not prepared to play this game today.
5. All right, so it's Rogar, the little lizard man. Not lizard. He's not little by any means. Relatively big lizard man. Comes in and
we just usually playing solitaire at the kitchen table. Like
he has no insight whatsoever.
But he's also very empathetic.
But is the Birdman sad or is he just weird?
Creepy. He's sad.
You're sitting alone, man. Why are you sitting alone? Where's everyone? Is Strike gonna come back soon? What about Eros?
Says
yes, many question.
And then he like shrugs his shoulders. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I just sitting alone's never good. Usually when something like that happens, I don't know. Donovan's trying to like do something wily or I don't know. It's usually when we get jumped out of the tunnels when it's something scared and alone rather than narrows his eyes.
He just looks at him, like blinks at him a couple times and says, scared. And alone. I was like blinking at him like a couple times, like, you think I'm scared and alone?
He shrugs again. Just like walks by, and he's only like he's young, but still somewhat old for Squamata in some ways.
Still the oldest of the bunch.
Yeah, he's in his later teens, sort of thing. Probably been in the city. He's been in the city the longest of really any of you, other than Cotton, uh, since he was very young. So knows just how horrid those things are and what happens when you're not alone. When you are alone, if you don't have someone to rely on in this city, you get absorbed, eaten by the city. Look what happens to the trash gets by itself. So the kind of just leaves you there, but probably looks back one more time, you feel, from your passive perception before he goes down the steps to go back to the tunnels with a couple snacks for the girls. And you hear somewhere down the kind of alleyway that leads to the tunnel system that Strike has been working on for a while now, the noise of Rogar getting knocked over and what the hell, and then a chittering kind of like coyote cackle from Donovan as he kind of ambushed him, and like they get into a little brawl match, and one of the girls runs up, "I was like, you were supposed to bring us snacks," and as he then there's some shuffle, and like, "You got him dirty, you," and then there's like, you don't know, they're just like wrestling with each other, and like Donovan called an accidental war between them all and is enjoying every moment of it. And
They're like arguing like what in the hallway?
This is downstairs, like outside of the tunnels.
Oh my god.
Roll me an insight check.
Yeah, I was gonna say these fucking kids are gonna get me evicted.
Great.
Insight.
You remember Terry mentioning that his familiar will be around more, and his familiar can turn invisible. So the familiar is probably not going to do something to these kids because he's a conniving little shit, and very selfish and all those
Can
things.
I
But
see
if he's
around now,
um
like put the cards down. Like I hear them arguing, I put the cards down. Like, oh my fucking god.
okay, roll me another perception or insight check. You can add double your proficiency bonus because this is about
Oh.
noticing what's out of place within the city.
God.
More than like seeing him. Like this is your familiarity with the city.
Oh my god, that's a 30.
I want to add to that. The Deeper caves are not part of Terry's property, so if we try something, we've got a case.
That's a 30.
Okay. Okay. So you come down the stairs, right? And Strike, where are you wood carving? Where are you doing your shit?
Probably close to the entrance. Somewhere around. Somewhere around here in the corner. Let's put it.
Oh, my bad. Okay, go for it. All right. So near the entrance. Okay, so this little scuffle's like happening right in front of you, just like erupts out of nowhere. You didn't see Donovan yourself, even. He just jumps out, and the girls kind of run out from back here, and Leandra was kind of running up from the city, and it just kind of erupts into a playful kind of giggle rough house match sort of thing. And you see Birdman kind of come down the steps, and Birdman's, you're peering around looking, and there is an indentation in the dirt nearby the initial entrance of the area that just wasn't there. I don't know. You're not even sure how you notice it. It's just this. It's obvious, like the pressure just slightly is off there, like something's sitting down right there, and it gets up, and there's like a shuffle of dirt, and it's the only thing that makes sense is tiny little feet, and then obviously a little puff of wind as wings or whatnot. Shek just can sprout wings. And it's invisible, 100% invisible. You don't see anything. You just notice that the terrain itself has been shifted, and something has been sitting there for quite a while before it got
Well,
shifted.
I want to try to catch the shitty hamster because.
No, this is just Birdman with his 30. This is Birdman.
Okay.
This is Birdman with his 30. For right now, unless Birdman goes off. You can roll a perception check with smell strike. It makes a lot of sense from where you're at. To see if you pick up on something as he starts to move.
Yeah, can I try to catch the shitty hamster?
What do you do? It's a disadvantage, but what do you do?
I guess do I know if I throw a knife at it, will it die instantly? I want it to
What's
die.
your modifier?
Plus. If I throw a dagger, it'd be 8.
Yes.
It would die. Oh shit.
It's a familiar. Familiars are CR 1/4 creatures. CR 1/4 creatures
Oh,
never
God.
have HP more than 7 or 8.
Yeah, so I guess I just try to grab it.
So let's roll initiative to see how quickly you are able to get to this thing as it's flying.
Fucking Christ.
For those things. Okay, and it would. Okay, Strike. You can go ahead and roll initiative too, because you would notice Birdman all of a sudden just get ready to dash or whatever. You're just see it it's such an odd body language, and he's not pinpointed towards it. And then you start to sniff, and there's something nearby that reeks. Oh my fucking god! It just something the nastiest fart. Is so disgusting. And
I imagine the Birdman that he cocks his head like a crow does when he hears a noise.
I'm gonna roll a Dira for the kids.
Yeah, he just I mean, he kind of comes out and then just he's peering around, but then he just hears a little shuffle, wings come out and just the bird cock, huh?
If the shitty hamster was better than all of us, I'm gonna ride.
Okay, it is able to react before you guys do, and it starts to flap its little wings, and it's invisible, and it's gonna go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and it's gonna go up a little bit. You hear it flying towards you, Birdman, and it kind of goes up, but with all the noise from the kids and whatnot, you lose a little bit of idea of what it's doing, exactly what it's doing. I'm gonna have it use its action to roll a stealth check to try to use the commotion to its advantage, and it's also invisible. So it's really trying to hide its sound from you all. More than anything, since the invisibility is taken care of sight. So, Strike, your sense of hearing is much better than others with your passive perception and hearing, which brings it to a 22. You know it flew this way. How high up and exactly the angle it's at this way, you're not sure. I'm going to change to a different color. You know it flew this way.
I'm just gonna try to grab it off the air. I don't know. Gonna jump at it.
What square do you run to try to grab to? And how high do you jump?
Well, I don't know. Let's try 10 feet.
Okay.
Just said somewhere around here. Yes? Here in this area somewhere?
Okay, that's square. Cool. All right, roll an athletics check with disadvantage because you're not sure where you're going for.
No, fuck that shit. I'm raging. I'm evening it out.
Okay.
Didn't even matter.
You grab at air, but your passive perception when you jump up 10 feet knows that you are really close to it. It might just be a little higher than that. And Birdman, your passive perception with hearing is the same as your other passive perception. So you saw where Strike jumped. But with the kids laughing and giggling still, and then a couple of the kids see Rogar jump, he's like, "What is he jumping at? What the hell?" Like they just like you're more. They are drawing all of your attention by this point. And Eros, you can return at any point you see fit. And
Eros isn't returning home.
Before that, Donovan and the Younger would have advantage on perception checks if they want to help out with that. If they even know what's going on.
Say what? I'm sorry.
They'd have advantage on perception hearing checks if they heard the flapping of wings and want to investigate it themselves.
Okay. Birdman, what do you do?
Jesus Christ. Well, I can't jump that high, so I don't really know what I can do to like not instantly kill it.
Just do it.
You roll me an Arcana check.
Oh jeez. Okay.
DC is an 11.
Oh, jeepers crabs.
Hey!
Exactly. Okay. You know the Find Familiar spell in general understanding. Okay. You know that if you kill it, it's not dead. You can't really technically kill a familiar. It will poof to its existence of the other plane it comes from. So there is that.
Come back. So
Then there is that, yes. So it's in some ways it's more complicated than an actual death, because if it was dead, you could just like, oh, I could, if you guys brought it to 0 HP, you could heal it, like that doesn't happen with a familiar. If you bring it to 0, it just poof goes back. So you can roll a perception check based upon hearing, or you can run and jump and try to grab it.
I think I'll just.
And you can use acrobatics for this.
Oh, okay. If I can use acrobatics, then I can probably jump that high. So yeah, I'll do that. I'll try to jump at it.
You pivot off the stairs, run up one or two of them, and then. Okay.
Hell yeah.
Let's.
With that Arcana check, would he know that Terry could poof Shek just back to him?
Yeah, I'll just send Shek just back anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yes.
Well, at that point, I would just fucking throw a knife at it. Because he's just gonna fucking bring him back or poof him back if we capture him anyway.
That way we at least cost him some money.
Yeah.
All right. A roll. Well, no, that works. So. Get an inspiration point as I'm re-rolling for Master Shekjes.
Great. That's good.
Okay. You had his little tail for the briefest moment. It was in your fingers, and then gravity works, and you start to fall down, and he gets out of your little tail. His tail out of your. So, Strike. You hear the little squirm from Shekjes, and now the other kids are like, "Oh my god, my turn! What are you grabbing at? We want to play." Leandra comes up. And Adira runs up and looks and sees Strike has a more serious face on, and kind of like looks up trying to really peer at what's going on, and Rogar comes and kind of helps, and I'll help.
Yeah, Strike's just trying to play it off like it's a big game, like the overprotective kind of dad he is.
All right.
Such a fun game where you start raging out. Oh, I'm just playing a game. That's all.
Well, his rage is more like an intense focus unless somebody else gets hurt. That is actual rage.
Okay. 5,
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35,
Why did Daddy go Super Saiyan over nothing?
40. Okay, you hear flapping of wings, Birdman that fly by right by your ear, and kind of same with Strike, and they kind of go down the street way. Which one of the big houses is Terry's house?
Oh wow, there's actually a lot here.
Which one of the big houses is Terry's house? You guys can pick which one. Like it needs to be one of, one of this one is the smallest that I will accept. But that's also the closest.
I thought you meant the 13 house. I was confused as well.
I would go with this one all the way in the bottom left.
There's also a couple over here, but
Eh,
you know,
oh.
The biggest one, as landlords do?
I don't know. They kind of seem like roughly the same size.
they do. The 4 biggest ones are roughly the same size.
Yeah. I mean, I would just probably the bottom left, I think.
All right.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
All right, bottom left, going to Terry's house. So once he gets there, life is changing. But Birdman, you also know they can speak telepathically. So the only thing that might stop this from happening if Terry is passed out drunk, which he often is. So
As landlords do.
Doesn't really matter, honestly, because as soon as he fucking realizes Shektus is gone, he's just gonna resummon him, and Shektus is gonna tell him anyway, so there's no fucking point.
Not to mention the deeper parts of the case are not Terry's property. So, Birdman, we're gonna have a fucking case.
So what does Strikeburn Birdman do? Do they end combat and not chase after him? Or do they continue to chase after the little
I'm
familiar?
gonna keep chasing it of
And
sheer
maybe
unimportant pride.
convince the little familiar to be on their side. That's really what's at stake here. Is you technically have a chance to convince the familiar with the momentum rules I'm using to. You need 2 successful charisma checks versus his passive insight, which
Can't
isn't
we
very
catch
good,
him?
to convince him to be on your side.
But can
Like-
we catch him? is
But
the
can you
only
catch
thing
him
that
is the other
matters.
thing. Yeah.
I don't think
So-
we catch
Can
him.
I make an animal handling check? Is that okay?
He is part sort of sure. I think that makes sense.
So I'm just saying, hey, Shekchess, if you don't tell Terry, you get as many stacks as you want, whenever you want. I'm using an inspiration to make the advantage.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
What kind of stakes? You hear a yell.
Yes, yes, yes.
I don't know what that is. What kind of stakes?
You know, what do you like to eat? We can make arrangements.
Birdman. What do you do?
Dude, I don't fucking know. What do I even say to this fucking thing?
Soup?
Swoop?
I do say soup to him, like soup. I don't know, I guess like soup. And then I say arrows. I say arrows. I say soup. And then I say arrows. And then I say soup. I say this like
I'm
3
gonna
times.
I'm gonna have him roll an intelligence check. Okay.
Please don't say arrows to soup.
Roll a persuasion or animal handling.
I'm just sitting here like, if you just mention arrows, you'll have an easier time of doing this.
Can I use that inspiration for advantage?
Okay.
I'll use it. No, dude. Whatever. I don't fucking care. I'm about to just kill this fucking thing anyway. So I don't give a shit. Birdman is not prepared for today's situation.
Adira and Leandra Donovan kind of run down the street, and Althea kind of runs up. It's between you two. They're looking. They heard the voice yell back, and I love it. Okay.
Everyone's head explodes.
He comes over to. You hear flaps of wings. Adira says, "I hear. He's getting closer," and she kind of points up in the sky, and you guys kind of listen in closer where she's pointing. You think you kind of pinpoint somewhere in the square. How high up is? You're not really sure. And he. I think. Yes. Eros steaks sound good.
You know, we get a lot of steaks and stuff. And
Yes.
Eros loves petting you.
Yes. Eros make good moo.
What the fuck?
Put Eros on a coquini or something.
She can make it work.
When Eros come to make more of these?
Come again?
When does Eros come make more?
Birdman shrugs.
She's busy at the 13th house right now, but she will be back soon.
Okay. The kids just look back to you confused. You hear wings flap away.
Churches, could you become visible? The kids are very confused.
You just hear wings flap away.
Rude.
That's it. And then eventually you just don't hear them anymore. So you assume he flew off.
Yes.
Birdman looks at Strike. He says, "Kids,
Kids.
kids."
Arrows. Soup.
Both of you get another inspiration point.
Yay.
He says,
You,
"Kids."
Kids.
they all come kind of sort of closer, and they're like, but we just wanted a snack, and then he took forever, and
He growls like Strike. He's very upset. He then speaks like Eros and says, "Terry has been hearing noises around the apartment." And then he gestures towards the children.
Yeah, about that. What have I taught you guys about being a little more quiet?
Donovan shrugs and kind of walks off.
Come back here, young man.
Rogar's like, I'll get him. And they're kind of talking in the kind of entryway over there. And then the two twins kind of come up and is like, yeah, but I don't know. We were hungry and you guys were gone a while and you were busy and it was...
You can always interrupt me when I'm busy. You know that.
Leandra grows 2 sizes. Nope. Leandra runs over
shit.
to
Birdman sees Strike disciplining his children and takes this opportunity to sneak away. Yes, he got the message.
Okay.
He walks up the stairs. Just does not say anything.
Back
Walks
to his
up
game
the
of
stairs.
solitaire.
Yeah. Back to my lonely shit that I'm doing.
All right. The day wraps up with Eros doing what?
Eros, kind of towards. I imagine it's literally after. Like, they're still in the kitchen. Like, this is While that was going on at the same time, concurrent. So Eros would slip off of Roxana and say, "Well, I'm glad everything is going to work out. Where do you plan on staying?"
Was hoping to ask Rexani for my room back, but I know how quickly things change around here. If not, Greendar has a pretty decent rate. I paid him pretty well the other night. Hopefully that's enough for at least a small bed to continue. It was more than he deserved to give me that piece of steak. Why is normal things like water, we still, I can't understand why people pay so much for these things out here when you can travel. It is a couple days walk, but really it's insane to me. But
Would you want to make a couple days walk while also working in the city? Just
no,
for a bit of water?
no, but Rexani here does have, he said I can have access to the barrels as I see fit. So a little bit more free, I guess.
As long as you work here, your water will be paid for.
She awkwardly smiles, not really sure why that's happy to her.
Well, I'll make sure Rexani gives you a room. I don't want you going anywhere. Because I want to see you tomorrow morning.
Are you coming here, or am I meeting you at your place?
I'll pick you up. There's some other things I want to do along the way. Someone I want you to meet, but I want them to be prepared first.
Oh, okay. I look forward to tomorrow.
Okay. And she'll like grab her wrist and pull her out of the kitchen and have them both walk up to Rexani. Rexani?
He kind of dances a little bit over, and Cotton turns around in their chair to kind of listen in.
Can Roxana have her room back?
Squints his eyes, looks you and her up and down, smiles. It never left. I hope she understands that as long as we have an agreement. He pulls out a piece of paper that he's obviously been working on while you guys were in there. He walks back over to the bar that it was on and kind of walks over to you. Give this to Birdman, if you would, please. I would like to settle this out of court, I think. Things have been arranged, and I have the right stipulations there to explain the situation. So hopefully we avoid any spectacle, and he kind of winks at Roxana.
No problem. I'll make sure he gets this. And Eros, is she wearing? Yeah, sure. She's wearing a bra, so she tucks the paper, folding it up, tucks it into her bra, opening her shirt just a little bit. And as she like passes by, from behind Roxana, don't work her too hard tonight. I'm gonna run her ragged tomorrow. Bye.
Well, tonight will just be a warm-up. And Roxana looks confused, but smiles and basically goes to the bar and just starts doing barmaid kind of stuff as you leave. And Cotton will finish their meal, and as you leave, will say that they need to go check in with their patron with their most recent job, though they should be home later.
Right. Then Eros is going to go back to the prison.
Interesting. Okay. I'll back to that map. Shouldn't take you too long to walk over there. I'll take Roxana away. The rest of you can stay here at least so you can see. Give me one moment to kind of place people on map. That. Okay. So it's the same day. It's only like 3 or 4 hours later. It's probably the same 3 of the 5 Lupin guards that were on watch before. What do you do?
Eros walks up, saying, "Hi. Sorry about earlier."
Oh, well, everything worked out in its own right. And he's referring to the gemstone.
Now, we got caught up in a lot of shit, but that wasn't exactly the reason why we were here in the first place. At least myself, I wasn't. There's actually something that I needed to check on here.
Would you have the official paperwork needed to enter?
Paperwork.
You have advantage on a check because you gave him a huge frickin' gemstone if you want to try to convince him otherwise. But he is trying to be lawful and do his job.
Right.
Like there would be paperwork for anyone to go see a prisoner.
Nice 21. She'll,
21.
I don't know about paperwork, because, well, this is just a little quick visit. It's nothing too serious. At least it shouldn't be.
No, if it is quick, I think. And he kind of puts his hand on his hip near his pouch where he probably still has the gemstone. He hasn't been off shift yet to like go change it in or anything. So, yes. And he and Kanan obviously says, the 2 names of these 2 guys and, tells them something to the effect your insight picks up on of, just keep watch. And he motions for you to follow him down the steps. And he leads you down into the prison. And you're both immediately, his ears and his whole like demeanor changes. You can narrate how you see fit, but there's a scream that just erupts out of nowhere, like almost as immediately as you come into the room. And he sniffs down the direction where the scream is coming from, and yeah, I will go talk to them down here. Make it quick.
I need. Is there a Hardy here, a dwarf?
Another kind of small wolfkin, you presume a Canis or whatever, comes down and sees you, but the guy you've been talking to kind of keeps his attention in their native tongue, and you hear eventually the word Hardy in their conversation after a few moments. He's obviously asking this guy, and this guy, the response that he gets, he doesn't really like, and
I'm casting comprehend languages.
And he, as your comprehend languages takes effect, you hear sort of the end of what the guy you were talking to say. That is unfortunate. I have a witness here that could cross-examine some information. We were hoping to speak with him before the interrogation begun. And the other guy just kind of, yeah, this, I don't know what we much can do by this point. Uh, he's, they wanted to get this done today for whatever reason. He's being overseen by one of the elites. And the way he says the elite, you don't know exactly what he means. It's not the connotation there that he's giving is, I don't know, off. I guess he's not referring in a kind way to it, but something he fears more than anything.
Can I
This other,
insight?
yeah, and it's this guy who's talking.
Yeah. Da-da-da. Got it. Oh, cool.
Okay. This Canis has a marker on him for the 12th house. He's referring to one of a high-ranking drow elite that's overseeing the interrogation. The drow are not really referred to as part of the house, even from the when the inner house conversations. Like they like to refer to it kind of as their own entity, even though they are the 12th house. But it's political bullshit, really. So he's just following through with like the norm of how he's been taught to behave. He's not gonna label them as the 12th house because they need to be neutral or whatever to the goings on. But they're drow all over the city. It's not like uncommon.
So, Eros would. Is there any problem? I just want to know if Hardy is here or not.
He speaks. He seems to be here. They are directing the interrogation to understand his connections within the city. It's basic protocol. And the way he's impressing on this, he wants that to be the end of this conversation. Like, he doesn't want this to go beyond there, but that doesn't mean you can't push it more. But it will require some sort of persuasion or intimidation check to convince him to use his authority more than he has, because he is a high-ranking member. This guy is. So he's higher ranking than this guy within the prison system. So he technically could push further, but you don't know if he could push past the authority of the drow elite that's been hinted to.
Well, I guess if he's busy right now, I just wanted to make sure that he wasn't going to cause any more trouble for the 10th house or anything. He caused me a bit of trouble some days back, so I heard he was dealt with in a sense. But if there are others who are more privy to him at the moment, that's fine.
Are
I
you associated with? He says in kind of broken common. Are you associate with 10th house?
I've had the displeasure of working with Altapar.
His head cocks to the left. He says in Canaan that you understand because you're comprehending languages, of course. Excuse, let talk to Elite. He may want to speak to her. And he kind of runs down. And you can see the knight, this Lupin knight, he gets obviously uncomfortable when that happens. And then you hear trotting from the Canis appearing, and then he kind of gets out of the way and kind of returns back. And then there's this drow come up with shield on its back, sword on its hip, dark red eyes peering through the darkness, and looks over up and down the night and in common. What is it you wish to inform me about Altapar in the 10th house?
Hmm?
Hardy seems to have some association with him. We have learned that much.
Oh, um, sorry. It was just more so that there was a little bit of a situation that, well, I don't want to say anything too mean or too rude about matters of privacy that really don't have anything to do with me. It's not like, you know, I accidentally cause people to think strange things about me or anything.
We have heard about the affair, yes. It's evidence of truth. It is ironic you appear. Hardy is trying to use your affair as some sort of reason behind why Lady Altapar has disappeared. Can you speak any truth to this?
Mm,
He obviously has no idea that she's dead, let alone that she's out of the city. By this point, it's just what Hardy has obviously said about how he assumes that's where she ran to after the speech. No one really knows what happened to her after the speech. You're getting the impression.
well, I I really don't know. I tried to offer my help to Altapar to clean things up, but I just never got a chance to talk to his wife, and I found out about Hardy after he was arrested. So all I know is that, well, Altapar just kept saying, I don't want anyone finding out about it. It could ruin me. Oh, Eros, I'm so sorry that I got, things misconstrued. I shouldn't have done that. I was being an asshole about it. And now I need your help to save me.
Get an inspiration point. And I also need a deception check.
Mm. Deception. Oh my gosh, it's almost a fucking 20 crit.
Iron Jesus is really on your side today.
I couldn't even roll that, even if I wanted to, so it's okay. 25. Ooh, 19. All right, so, well, I thank you for the information. Hardy, what is your concern over this dwarf?
It's just that, I want to make sure that everything will be fine, that there aren't any misunderstandings, that no one's going to get hurt over anything. And sometimes that requires a bit of. I know whenever I used to wander outside of the city many years ago, if I may have accidentally gotten someone's back graces, I would just leave town. So I was just wondering if I could make that suggestion to him, but if he's gotten himself in deeper trouble, there's nothing I can do to help.
Hardy, I am sad to inform you. His crimes against the city run deeper than you know. And to avoid the cost of the courts, it has been decided it would be in the best interest to handle his execution out of any discussions. I do hope this does not bring you too much woe. He was loved by few, I know.
Really hoping it wouldn't have to come to that, but I I understand. I'll just I'll just I'll just go. There's no there's if there's nothing for me to do, then there's no point in me staying
One
around
question
then.
before you go. Personal question of mine, if you don't mind. Hardy
I am a
mentioned.
C-cup, yes.
That's me laughing. He would not laugh. He probably like takes a step, like takes a beat. That was not my question. And probably his face turns a little more purple. Uh, Hardy mentioned you gave a beautiful performance the night of the brawl with Master Carehalls, who, if you are happy to hear, based upon your bard duel I heard about that he dishonored, the stage courts will put him through the trial he deserves for his money laundering and illegal prostitution. But we thank you for arranging for his few clients left, that they find proper arrangement with Rexani. He takes care of the city well, we know. To that point, when is your next performance? I believe many of my advisors would enjoy such a spectacle. He smiles.
Eros, she with one hand, she kind of puts her finger on her lip and pulling it down while keeping her arm tight to her body, and her other hand she grabs the bottom of her shirt and kind of pulls it to above her crotch area, uh, and gets this like very devious smile on her face, saying, "Only so many things can bring a girl pleasure, and hearing carnivals is gonna get what he deserves is definitely one of those."
Carnivals.
Jesus Christ.
I'm thinking I might have something tomorrow night. I have someone that I'm helping out, and I have an idea. At the 13th house, there might be something special going on.
Well, the invitation should be sent to my master to go through the proper channels. And you know the open name for the binder lord of the 12th house is this human named Master Marcellum. You know, everyone knows for a fact, once you've interacted in this city for anything longer than a few months, that the drow are really in charge and this guy's a face. Whoever the drow actually serves is a much higher ranking drow that lives somewhere that most people don't know about. So, you are assuming that's who he's actually talking about, but you need to officially send the invitation to Spencer Marcellin to keep up their front that they want to keep up. That, the drow aren't really in control of anything. They're just here as part of any other race that's just immigrated to the city. Even though most people know without the drow, there wouldn't have been enough money at all to even start the city. Like, they are a huge chunk of the money that has been here for a long time. And it's only in the last 12 years that they took the 12th house. Before them, they were influenced it, but the last 12 years ago, they took it. They took complete control over it. and have been running it with an iron grip since then.
Well, I'll make sure to get something sent out as soon as I have things a little bit more locked down. And she looks to the Lupin guard. Thanks for everything today.
The drow walks away, and the Lupin squares off with you. You are a strange human, but you are welcome. See that you don't do something too strange to bring you here. And he points at the empty stall.
Well, don't worry. I don't like getting into trouble much. Being a bad girl, it's not exactly my style. Have a good sex life as she walks up the stairs.
I was waiting for this.
I love Arrow so much. I love all these characters. You guys have this weird, sexy, angry Kenku mix. I don't need Birdman is his own. I like
Perfect gets his own genre.
like there's like Birdman brings a seriousness to the game that the other two don't bring though, which I love. I love so much because he's Birdman, you know, like you don't expect the seriousness from it, but he's the straight man for for what goes on in life.
I'm still not over the fact that we had a fucking emotional scene with a fucking Kenku.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
It was like you want another one?
Please!
We're probably gonna get another one.
Eros, do you go back home or where do you go?
Yes, back home.
Do we have a
that's what I
window?
assume. That's up to you guys. Do you have a window?
Yeah, do we have a window?
Like it didn't come with a window, so like that's what I mean. Like you guys could like make one.
It didn't come with a window.
You see, if you
Strike probably made a window at some point.
if we go back into the Discord, there was when me and Strike were doing the weird.
Oh, there is a scene where there's a window because I jump out of it.
Okay.
Yes!
Okay, there's one window. Where's the one window?
The one window. Oh my god.
On the lower floor, I would say, because no fall damage was taken.
It's gotta be like.
Well, you guys don't own the lower floor.
Yeah, we're on the second floor.
Someone else lives on the lower floor.
one
Yeah, then we're
window.
just really fucking good at jumping.
I would say it's either this.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably
wall or
like
this.
right here. It's either here, or in one of the rooms.
And
But
if
I
it
think
was
it's
in
like
one room,
here.
it'd be arrows.
Yeah, this one here makes the most sense because it'd
Yeah.
be near the oven. In case you burn things. Okay, let me.
Yeah, before we proceed, how many coins did I manage to make for the burn?
What is yours? Okay, roll a. What is your proficiency modifier?
We haven't won yet. We rolled with strength.
No. Just what is your proficiency modifier?
Free.
3. Okay, a different question I'm asking. Yeah, I know you rolled. I forgot. I really like the mechanic of kind of just reapplying some the survival mechanic for finding food, but applying it with your different modifier here. So because your proficiency is a 3, though, roll me a D8 plus your strength modifier to how many coins you make.
Birdman, you're about to get so many coins.
Hell yes.
Oh
Right.
my god.
You make 11 coins
God.
just in this day. You're not proficient in what you're doing yet. That takes weeks and weeks of time, but you're getting really good at the coins, for different things to pump out these things.
Yeah, Woodcast is just an apprentice level to eventually get to the carpenter stuff.
Okay, I need to delete a wall so I can make a window. So hold on.
Fuck yeah.
Well, you guys can continue to roleplay and stuff as you come home for the evening, and we can.
What kind of food do we have in this household? Like
You guys bought a bunch of stuff, potatoes and I don't know, different kinds of meats and all sorts of stuff.
perfect.
I think-
Potato is perfect.
And I
Just
think in
a
the lower
single
parts of the
potato.
caves, Althea should be able to grow some food with the wheat we got so far, shouldn't she? Or isn't she that far yet?
Well, the planting and growing food is one thing. Casting magic to do that, no, she's not there yet.
Too bad.
But nonetheless, I'm gonna give you guys a decently sized window just because, I know.
Need to have space to jump out of it.
Okay, so decently sized window, and then all right. Remember there's the cave system there, but technically there's like, I need to. There's like a ruin. There's like a broken down house there, so I'll add a couple ruined things out the window so you guys can kind of remember that. And then the other over here where I blocked off, there's technically further east where I blocked off, there's technically more houses. It's just that's also where the tunnels are. And roll 20 can only do so many things.
Well, the window's right next to the oven, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna find a window thingy.
Then this is perfect.
Okay. All right. Window remodeling the house. Okay. So we go. Eros comes home.
Birdman is sitting in the open window, like he's sitting in the open window, like holding, like just holding like a knife in his hand, just like carving a little thing into the, like just sticking it in and out of the windowsill, just looking outside.
Strike would be like in the house, probably squaring off against Donovan, just because they both like to fight.
Eros would seeing these two first would be like, guys, calm down.
It's fine, we're just training.
Yeah, just training and making noise.
Oh, yeah, you've got a point. Speaking of, you might have a few more visits by the hamster soon.
Why? What? Why is Jack just... What? What do you mean?
He likes it when you pet him.
So he's coming by for me to pet him more?
Pretty much, yeah.
Her eyes kind of roll to the back of her head as she like breathes in through her teeth, like, oh yes, cool. I don't know why, and I don't care why.
Good. Let's keep it that way.
And then
you look over at the Birdman. He's like, nice. You can see the look on his face, like, nice. It's very smooth.
Strike gives you a thumbs up.
Yeah, very, very smooth. Yeah. You then see the Birdman reach through because he's like sitting, I imagine, like on the windowsill. Like you see him reach through the window and with his knife and like stab something in the oven. And then he pulls out a full ass potato.
Just potatoes for weeks, boy.
Just a full potato, just in the oven, like skin on. Just, I don't know what it looks like. It probably just looks like a fucking rock at this point, like because tinfoil doesn't exist. So I can't.
Yeah, you made coal.
Yeah, I just made coal. Just like stab a piece of coal out of the oven. And
Birdman invented coal.
and then I like cut into it, but it's a cooked potato. It just looks like shit.
Roll20. I haven't done this in a while. Roll20 added a window thing. That's cool.
What?
Like in dynamic lighting, I can actually make like a one-way like.
Oh, there you go.
Like where you guys can look out, but the people can't really look in.
Oh,
kind of thing. Oh, and you can also make it transparent so both ways can look in, but there's still like a wall there that players can't walk through.
Nice.
Nice.
Hey, they're catching up with the world. Oh my god.
So
Oh
yeah,
my
Birdman just grabs his potato out of the oven and he's like he like cuts into it and like pops a piece in his mouth.
Eris will walk up to the Birdman, and she's gonna place her hand on his leg. Thanks for going along with what I was doing.
Hmm? Hmm?
With everything, Angeles, the gem.
Hmm.
I know it's not the easiest thing for you, but I'm glad. I'm just glad.
Stares at you, blinks a couple times, pops a piece of potato in his mouth, looks back out the window.
She reaches down her shirt and grabbing the paper, pulls it out.
Birdman instinctually covers it, like turns his face away from you, and then realizes that you're pulling something. Like, oh, huh. Okay.
Here, this is for you. It's from Rexani, and it should clear everything up.
Is it like an envelope? What is it? Like it's just like a piece of paper?
It's like a sealed, like Lord's piece of paper
Oh
that has
my
like the
God.
wax seal and everything on it. It's like very official.
He says it should clear everything up. Birdman like, it should clear everything up.
And it's addressed to you. Like it's like a document, and then you would like officially like make a copy of it to like for the like official record, and then you would keep this for you.
What is it though? Like I open it up and what does it say? Does it say just like
something to the effect of I, Rexani, Binder Lord of the 13th House, who knows the fabled word, hereby clear Roxana.
Oh great. So it's a letter
of
that
claim.
basically says, "Hey, I'm a
Yeah.
piece of shit and I know it.
Yeah.
Don't sue me." Awesome.
Basically, like he's like they worked it out of court, and
That's hilarious.
he's willing for the courts to save, you know, any monetary expenses they would need to spend
Oh
to
shit.
go through the process, and he thanks the Birdman attorney for you know
man.
giving him like the insight he needed.
This letter tells me that if I would have dug into something, I would have found it.
Yes.
fuck.
He's the 13th house guy that got it in like less than a decade. Like
Mm.
he's been through some shit. But nonetheless,
Birdman looks at Eros and he says, "Thank you."
there is
90% of what I make.
yeah.
And
Speaking of
he
that,
holds up the letter like, like I'll fucking take it, but this is a freebie.
yeah.
There's
He basically also has like a line about using you in the future for anythings, and that he has payment waiting for the Birdman when he wants to come for settling the court fees.
Oh my god! I hope I get a letter from every house that's like, "Can you please do something?"
Like so, like you, like yeah, you can totally. My brain just went to that. Like this is something you could use as blackmail, sort of later on if you spin it right.
Just the Birdman getting like, oh no, I can't like two houses need to go up against each other. It's just like, no, I can't represent you. I'm representing this house. Oh, dude, come on.
Batman is about to turn into Saul Goodman.
Oh hell yeah, dude! That's exactly what I want for this character. Just to be Saul Goodman.
it's all good, man. Yeah, it's all good.
Precisely.
Saul Birdman.
I just realized that his name is Saul Goodman.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. It's all
Uh,
good, man.
it's all good, man.
Oh, holy fuck!
It's all good, man.
To be fair,
I just fucking got it!
To be fair,
I love Vince
kind of
Gilligan.
I kind of figured that out after watching Critical Role because I think they figured that out too.
It's all good, man.
It's all good, man.
Fucking Vince Gilligan, man.
Eros then says, "Well, I think we're always even, since we always have each other's backs."
I think we're always even. Looks over at Strife. Or looks over at Strike. Always even.
Always even.
Always even.
Even Steven.
But
Even Steven. Oh my god. He just looks at you like- he says, even Steve. And then he like, you see this look on his face like, oh, like points at you and says, even Steven.
Even Steven. So he just
Even
comes up like he should look like, yes, you can call me Steven.
Oh, oh my god. Birdman just like, he is no longer sad. He's like, yes!
Berman has special permissions now.
He's literally been like moping around all night, and then he comes home. He basically gets a letter that says, "Hey, I'm a piece of shit," and then he's like, "Arrow says thank you." He looks at the Strike, says, "You can call me Steven." He's like, "My life is complete now." He just like looks, he's like,
seems that someone's happy. Well, there's a little bit more.
"No."
Well, there's a little bit more you can get happy about. Hardy is still alive, but the 12th house is planning to execute him in secret.
250 per person.
250 per person.
Wait, Hardy? You mean one of the assholes who agreed to, attack you?
Right. Because of his dealings with Angeles, they don't know that she's out of the city. They just know that she's disappeared. And Hardy was the closest connection, so they've been
Wait.
interrogating him.
Wait. 12th house?
Yep. The Drow, specifically, are doing it.
The Drow.
They were trying to get some information out of him, but they didn't get much. The best that they got, it seems, is that they know of Altapar's divorce and the alleged affair. And they wanted to see if Hardy knows where Angeles went. But apparently he's also committed some other crimes that I'm not aware of. And as such, he can't be allowed to live. Nor can it be made public.
He takes that letter and he like slaps it in his hand a couple times. You ruined my sex life.
As for instructors, not so long. And I'd imagine Donovan doing the same, being the closest in personality to Strike from all the kids.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Roxana is also going to become my disciple from now on.
Disciple.
Disciple?
Yep, she's going to train under me to be a bard.
That girl does have talent, it seems, huh? You don't take on, well, anyone for any purpose, easily.
No,
90% of what I make.
but there is something interesting about it. Something that felt off. Either
Do
of you
tell.
know about bloodbenders of the 12th house?
Oh, here comes the history check. Oh god.
Yeah, let me roll that one.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, God. Do I know
Yes,
what
you
Bloodbender
can
is?
roll a history.
I rolled a 9/11. Wow.
Oh no.
That's a trap.
Strike knows that there are a group that were involved in the pit fights that were called bloodbenders. They were really good martial artists. You don't that's just what colloquially they were called. You don't know if they were associated with the 12th house or not.
Question: did Strike kill one of them? And those events?
Let me look to see how strong I made them. To see if that makes
It would have
sense.
been around like levels anywhere from 4 to 7. I want to say.
It would have been one of your hardest fights. But yes.
So even with that history check, I would know.
You would know they're really good fighters. That's all you know.
So then Strike would say, I know they're really good fighters. That's how I got Donovan out of a very sticky situation. But do tell us some more.
Birdman, you know. I don't know. I think of like something where one of their higher ranking monk members was in the 12th house. You've worked for the 12th house. Like one of your cases you've done for them in the last couple of years, he was arrested for murdering someone for doing some sort of. He lured someone in, captured them, kidnapped them, and murdered them. And it was someone well known in the 12th house, and this guy was within the 12th house. So it was like an inner conflict thing, and they put all the pressure on it, and he got like maximum sentence and all this stuff. But he supposedly was able to use blood of himself and others to. That's what he's experimenting with. That's what he was figuring out.
Probably like a trial that I watched maybe at
Mhm.
one point, like for practice, like because you don't do every trial.
Yeah. One of your that makes sense for your like
So it's
early years, your early months into the system, trying to learn how things worked.
yeah.
Witnessed this trial of this guy from the 12th house that went through the system, and
I got convicted.
He was part of he's part of this group that's an inner group called the Bloodbenders. So all of you are loosely aware of the name, but there are lots of different stories of what they actually are capable of doing. Most of it just hints around that they're gifted at death, is the general thing, and they have learned this power because of the death that the city has caused. So
Bloodbenders.
The one of the clients that Roxana had obtained patronage from was potentially one of these bloodbenders who went under the alias of Red. Now, what Rexani has said about them is that they're a very masochistic sadist type who love pain, and as such, if none of the girls want to deal with them, then they don't have to. And Roxana had to give back some of the money. Well, she had to give back the money that he had paid her. It was just something interesting, but now that I think about it, the Festival of Blood is coming up. Bloodbenders. I don't think that has anything to do with anything. I'm not saying that I'm worried about bloodbenders, but what was really odd was that someone who likes pain didn't want to be involved with a situation as simple as a money dispute between a worker and the binder lord, even though he wouldn't have been a part of it at all.
Why would someone like pain? That doesn't make sense to me.
Birdman looks over Eros and looks at you hella confused, like, what are you talking about? You see like the bird cock.
What? Liking causing pain is one thing, but enjoying it, that's another story. I don't get it.
I've heard about plenty of people who like candle wax dripped onto them while it's nice and hot.
Why?
Birdman takes this confused look and directs it at Eros. Like, huh?
What? Some people like it.
But why?
Imagine, if you will, something that excites you. And Eros would kind of go up to Strike and put her hand on his abs and then kind of run her hand through his fur up to his chest. Something that just makes you feel more. These feelings, these things, they can spark themselves in the strangest of ways in people.
Let me just roll a persuasion check to see if Strike can hide if he enjoys being petted or not.
On your abs.
So,
Barely beats my insight.
barely. But because there's nobody else around, he just goes, "Oh yes."
Donovan's right there, though.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he kind of forgets about that.
I don't think
Donovan's probably looking at Birdman, being like, "Do I walk away? Do I go in Cotton's room? Do I stay here?"
Birdman invites him to sit on the other end of the windowsill.
He
Like,
walks over there, and
bro,
just goes,
front row seat, bro. He offers him some potato. Like-
Okay.
Potato like it's even popcorn.
like has like imagine the potato is like stuck on the knife. Like, yo, dude, like beats it over. Like, hey, man, you want some potato?
Iris continuing on with kind of using her other hand, like get like pet around scratching Strike's ear.
Strike gets this look on his face like a dog who has a whisk on his head.
There are just so many different things, so many different ways that
12th house, 12th house,
people get
12th house, 12th house, 12th house,
excited.
12th house, 12th house, 12th house.
So it's not entirely impossible that someone loves it when they can feel that sting, that tension on their skin.
Oh, fuck yes.
Yeah.
Birdman looks at Donovan like, yes, your father's weird.
Donovan's just like, yeah, I don't know. He just has something. He brings out a little play dagger and is just looking at it.
He brings out a play dagger.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, hell no. I gave him a real dagger. I'm sneak him a real dagger. Like, no,
takes the real dagger, puts the other one on the windowsill, like looks at it and puts it in the sheath where he had the other
I
one.
take it. Yeah. I take
You know
the
what?
play. I take the play
Strike
dagger.
sees that, but doesn't even give a shit. He's taught them well. They know how to use.
I was gonna say, I mean, I could roll a sleight of hand if you want. If you're
Well,
mad about it.
Donovan, he's old enough.
Yeah, he's fine. Just don't stab your friends.
Yeah, just don't stab your friends. Okay, he
Or
nods at that.
do stab your friends.
Yeah, or do.
Whatever you're gonna do.
Okay.
Or do.
Well,
I mean, whatever you're gonna do.
So Eros then like just quickly like
This is an
let's
adult
go.
conversation. He's evolved into an adult. Give him a
When
knife.
you're
he just
around
aged
Eros,
1 year.
Yeah, exactly. Give him a knife, man. Fuck
when
it.
you're around Eros, you have to mature
A
quickly.
knife.
Eros like quickly like her hands, she steps back very abruptly. So, yeah, people they're into all sorts of things.
Oh, Birdman realizing the
Strike just-
implications of this. I give a knife to Birdman. Now Rogar's gonna want something. Oh god, this is gonna be terrible.
And Strike just looks at Eros like, I didn't say stop.
Erison, yeah, this will be fun. Erison like leans onto the window seal by Donovan and says, "So Donovan, what are you up to lately?"
Birdman takes the potato and jumps off the. He jumps off the windowsill. Like goes and sits at the table. He's like, nope. Fuck that. You're on your own, kid.
She's just gonna stare him down till he answers.
He's just a kid.
I'm very
Eros grew up around brothels since she was 5 years old. That concept means nothing to her.
Fucking hell.
Hi. Yeah. You're cool. He gave me a dagger. I thought he was weird before, but no. Okay. Thanks, Strike. I'll work on the I don't know. Thinking about the that inner memory rage thing. I don't know. I haven't really figured out what I want that to
Donovan,
be.
you shouldn't keep a girl waiting.
I said yeah. Hey, I'm good. I just
Donovan, don't be rude to Auntie Eros.
what? I don't know what else to say. I just yeah, I'm here.
You really need to go meet more people outside.
Oh, but that I like you guys. That's easy. I got used to this. There's lots of people out there. Should we?
There's also lots of girls too. Or guys, whatever you're into.
I don't even know about that. There's just so much sometimes. Are we really gonna go to the festival?
Yes, we're going to the festival. Unless you don't want to, then you can stay here or somewhere else.
No, everyone else is going.
Donovan, how old are you now?
I don't know. I'm almost tall enough than most of the other adults I see, so I gotta be near that. Um,
Well,
he,
you're taller than an adult gnome. Gnomes don't really get that tall at all. Height isn't really a way to tell.
well, or some of us, I guess it might be. I have seen, um, I don't know, 2 summers here, with you all, so, well, Strike, and then the last summer with you all, this summer with you all, so before then, there's at least 3 or 4. I don't, but that's when I could remember things.
Then let's say 9? From what I remember, it's about 3 years of not really being able to remember anything coherently. And after that, things smooth out.
Okay, 9, cool. I don't, I just, I'm here, doing my thing. Uh, he tries to cackle and chuckle, but it is weak, and he's not really sure what to do. With that thing, and then well, I should go and maybe check on some of the others, make sure they're cool.
Sure, why not? But remember, Donovan,
Yeah.
if you ever find someone that catches your eye, just let me know. I can help.
Oh, okay. That's yeah, okay. Uh, okay. Well, yeah. Bye. And he like skitters down the stairs.
I'll be honest, I was worried the inclusion of the kids would be annoying at first, but it was such an asset to the story. I love it.
They're fun. You're giving me some things to spin off of. Um. Okay.
Eros gets her own potato and puts it in the oven. Better prepared than the bird could do.
And after that, Strike would come up to Arrows and lower his head like, "Pet me some more, please."
Which she obliges for. All the head pats.
Oh, fuck yes.
You guys eventually go to bed.
Yeah, I kind of have everything finished off.
Wrap up this day and get a long rest as the night is, other than the normal humming and drumming noises and general loud carving noises and metallic machinery and partying throughout the city that are the norm of the city. It's a quiet night for you guys in the part of the city you're in, and everyone seems to rest up. No sort of ill dreams or anything. And the next morning, who wakes up first?
Probably the bird.
Either the bird, or do we just roll for it?
Either the bird or Eros.
That's your guys' choice, in my opinion.
I don't know. Birdman, do you wake up first or does Eros? I mean, he's muted right now, so. If he doesn't unmute in the next 5 seconds, Eros wakes up first.
I want to say Strike wasn't even sleeping, just watching over the kids. According to the rules, he can just stay awake for a few days at a time, which is fucking crazy with his god mod. But let's just say he didn't sleep just that.
No, you need to sleep.
Then he slept a little bit.
Okay. Well, Birdman didn't respond, so Eros wakes up first. Eros, what are you doing for the first 30 minutes of your day?
The first 30 minutes, let me. She is naked and is cooking breakfast.
Okay. Okay. After you're gonna wake up in the middle of you waking breakfast, there is a knock at the door early this morning.
And she goes, walks on over, opens the door, answers it.
In a hooded, different clothing disguise than you're used to her seeing her in, with a scroll case kind of slung over her left shoulder, you see Talaria at the door.
What the fuck is she doing in the city?
Hold on, let me find her token. There's her token. Oh, there we go. Okay. At the door, and she smiles at you.
Eros immediately, before she even said, before either of them can say anything, Eros grabs her arm, pulls her in the door, and closes the door.
Okay. Comes inside, and is everyone and yourself all right? She kind of takes the hood off.
Yeah, we're all fine. Yeah. Yeah, we're fine. What about you, though?
This last few days has been interesting, trying to hide a high lady of the city. But I can. She closes her eyes, kind of grits her teeth. I can speak more of that, two more about that in a moment. First, she takes the scroll case off her left shoulder and unclips the top part of the leather strappings and pulls out some documents out of there and hands you a group of papers. There's like four you see as you kind of get it in your grip. That you unfurl and see are um clothing designs. One for her outfit, one for this dress outfit thing, and then two others you can come up with if you choose, or we can just narrate that they exist.
I'd have to think about it, but yeah, Arrows would taking it and seeing that there's extra. She would like her legs would kind of tremble as her knees kind of get closer together, and she like a really like big grin, but kind of one of those like it's a big smile, but she's also containing it at the exact same time. Kind of one of those types of deals. As she just goes, "Oh, you didn't have to do more. You didn't have to do more. You didn't. Come here," and pulls her into a tight hug.
Gonna have her roll a charisma save. Okay. She is in complete shock and just like falls into the hug like she has not had a hug in years. And that's probably the case by how she hugs you back. Like this is like a real like someone just thankful for something simple, and it doesn't have to always be double-sided and cheated and all this stuff. You just she just like, and there are tears in her eyes. Like she's not bawling, she's not sobbing by any means, but she's crying. Just by just the unexpected just joy that comes from something so simple like this.
And suddenly, I've been wanting to do this for like 2 sessions. There's a big fucking badge for biggest group hug.
He just comes in and just sees them hugging and just roll.
Hi, Shrek. Didn't know you were up this
Hello!
early.
I've been
Oh.
up for a while.
Okay. You're big and furry, yeah. She pats you on the shoulder.
Oh, too tight? Sorry. And so I use this considerably.
And as
She
you'll eventually pull out, Eros says, "Well, you really didn't have to bring all these other ones, but seriously, thanks."
no, you're welcome. It was the least I could do for what I'm about to put on your shoulders. Is the Birdman and young Cotton here?
Well, Cotton hasn't come back. She said she went to the fifth house to deal with some things. I'm pretty sure she's fine. Birdman is currently sleeping, surprisingly. I thought he would be up. But I'm making breakfast, and it could be easy for me to make it a little bit more if you want.
That would be a pleasure. And she kind of walks hurriedly past to go to the table. But before we place food, I she just
pulls out of her scroll case 2 more pieces of paper, and she unfurls one on top and kind of sets the unlit lantern to kind of paperweight the front side of it down, and her nimble elf ears kind of hold fingers. New interpretation of elves, everyone. Hold the corners of the map, and it's a map of the city as you guys come up to look. But it has an interspersed kind of markings, these circles that are drawn, and then there's one that is, I'll bring you to the city map. There's one, there are different circles throughout, and they're like mostly on the roadways, it seems, that she's kind of marked. And then there is one that's kind of circled where this yellow dot I drew is multiple times. That draws your eye quite immediately. It's, obviously really just like this is the spot with how it's marked. And we have been doing investigations, my compatriots, over the last decade, and as you know from our previous conversations, the 12th house is the focus of our curiosity. They have created and spawned younger Tarask in the outside cities. And we have only ever feared that they would have a similar system in place here. We have been given some information from Lady Aldapar of late that hints to the blood festival happening in the next fortnight to link to this spot. So when the artery is cut, they are planning to siphon quite a bit of the fluid that normally spreads out throughout the tailstones for those less fortunate to at least have something to boil down into stews and soups.
Speaking of, does this Tarask ever truly die? Because it doesn't seem that way.
I hope within my life to someday see that. But I am already nearly 3 centuries old. Feared the
3
Tarask my whole life.
centuries. You look no younger than 20 years old, at least by human standards, I guess.
Yes, the fey blood that runs through me harnesses me to an older time.
Yeah, Eros would kind of rub the back of her hand on Talaria's cheek, saying, "That's what elven blood does for you. Keeps your skin nice and smooth."
Wake up, Brandon. The next morning, you wake up. Welcome back, that is. You wake up and Talaria knocks on the door while Eros is making breakfast. You can decide when you want to enter the scene, as you wake up the next morning. But she has unfurled some various papers on the kitchen table, and they're discussing some recent exploits and things that she's figured out. Mostly related to the Blood Festival and how the 12th house is going to siphon blood that should be given to the masses for some experiments, is what she's hinting to. And then She hands you, Eros, a... No, before she hands it, she has this letter in her hand, but she's like, before she gets ready to hand it to you, Eros, she says, I am curious why the 13 lords of this city seem unconcerned with the exploits of the 12th house. The last 10 years, they have done many a thing that in the previous 200 would have sparked some sort of lethal, cutthroat-like move. They have done little to quell the 12th house, so their strength is obviously something, as I have feared for many years, to be reinforced by a darker and much more ancient power. I don't know if you know much about my kin, the Drow, but they have longed for these lands before and after the fall of Hod's Tower. And they are nearly successful, I fear. I do not trust the 12th house for anything, but why does the 13th? Like, with every obvious move the city has made to create and establish itself with legitimacy, if they reinforce the 12th house claim, what does that say for the future of the world? They are promising an entire continent fed by a dark, evil, oily, and disgusting beast. And that's supposed to lead us to what future other than more death? That is my concern. And she hands you the letter as she finishes, Eros, and you can see it says, from Lady Angeles.
At that point, Strike would chime in and say something like, I don't think you could classify the Tarask as evil, as it is a mere beast. They do not share our content of good and evil. Only what benefits them in terms of survival.
Thumbs up. You get a thumbs up.
As far as the other houses go, Eros says as she begins to open up the letter, the 12th house, from what I know, has always been influential in the city since its inception. Without the 12th house's resources, the gold that they provide, the city wouldn't be where it's at now. And 13th house? Well, Rexani, the lord in charge, likes money and likes entertaining people, and doesn't have many years left to live. So, not sure what he would even think about this, but you have given me a slight idea. I am curious as to what Altapar has done with the information we provided him, specifically the baby Tarask head. And then she reads the letter.
Baby Tarask head.
Maybe Tarask could.
As you begin to read, Talaria says, and this is why I apologize. And you read, my new friends in the city. The city is capitalized. I saw something in all that day that gave me a new hope for what will come next. So thank you. But also, I apologize. I must act, and she underlines act. I must do something about what the 12th house is doing for what I allowed them to do right under my nose. And that's all it says. Lady Altapar escaped under my compatriot's nose, and we believe she's returned to the city based upon this letter. I would like your help to find her in this sea of salt. What do you do?
Fuck. Well. Shit. Damn it, I made so many plans today. guys. I'm gonna have to ask for your help here.
What can we help with?
Birdman salutes.
Okay. Well, we clearly need to find Angeles. Breadman, I think you would be the best for that. Going around the city, that is.
Nods. Nods.
As for you, Strike, I'm not entirely sure. But maybe, just maybe. I'm not 100% certain.
Just spit it out.
Well, I have two ideas. I mean, you're more of a muscle guy anyway, so that's why it's a little bit harder. I don't want you dragging down Attorney while he runs through the city unless Attorney is fine with you coming along.
Fair. I'm not the stealthiest guy, especially with my stature as a melon.
He's fast as fuck, though.
And
But I'm very fast.
right. And Solaria, I know you don't want to be seen throughout the city. But maybe if you want Strike to follow you along, that could be a possibility. And the last thing is Altapar himself. I know you're not the most capable at words, but more of a check-in to see what's going on with the Tarask head.
As Altpass mentioned, Strike's eyes light up, and he's like, "Can I finally kill that asshole?"
Considering he's the political head of the 10th house, no. Unless you could
Fuck.
somehow convince the Binder Lord of the 10th house to allow you to do that.
That sounds more like a you thing, convincing people of stuff.
Exactly.
I'm interested in that.
All I would want from you is just to check in on him. I have already made prior arrangements. And I really don't want it to wait. There's someone I have to meet.
All right. Essentially, do whatever you tell me to do.
All you need to do is just go see Altapar. Make sure that it's for his ears only, and just ask about a follow-up from the mission. Maybe even see if there's something else he wants done. Oh, right. Also, let him know about Hardy. That
What
he's
about last time when you really didn't want me to meet him? And don't get me wrong, I understand perfectly why. But what changed?
right now. There's no reason for you to lie about Angeles. As far as he's concerned, she's dead. But if she got herself caught and he found out, what amount of lying would actually stop that from happening? If he does know, then just say that we try to get her out of the city. And it almost worked. But she is a stubborn bitch.
Birdman held back.
Essentially,
He like looks at Strife like, yeah, I'll go with you. I'll go with you. Gotcha. Like I will go with you to talk to Altapar because Altapar is weird. You don't deal with him a lot.
I like to think that Birdman and Strike have kind of developed their own little thing of thieves' can, where they only really understand each other.
Yes.
And with Bertman giving that look, he knows, okay, Bertman comes with me. Nothing can really go wrong.
No. If I go with you to talk to Altapar, nothing will go wrong. And then after we do that, then I can run off and be a fucking menace in the city looking for his wife.
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, look at each other, and Swag goes, all right, to Artifer, just protect the left either here. Bertman's coming along. All's going to be fine. Got it.
Thumbs up.
Eros puts her hand on the other side of Talaria's waist and pulls her in close, saying, "Well, of course I wouldn't let anything happen to her. I don't know if she wants to run with me, though. That's up to her. Because I won't be doing any covert things."
Well, where are you going?
I have an apprentice that I have to train, and I need to show her some of the ropes.
Marcello's.
Marcello's, yes. That is a place that I'm going. Especially since you gave me these, I have to go see him.
Oh, I guess I will go with you. I don't think staying here by myself is a good idea right now. Yes, Birdman and Strike, be careful. I heard Altapar is a capable wizard.
Not capable enough to stop me once I get going. Believe me.
Not capable enough to stop me.
Not him either.
Not him either.
You got it, Brian.
You both of you get an
Steven.
inspiration.
I love these suicide types so much.
Then he looks at Talaria and says, "Staying here by myself probably isn't a very good idea. Terry's a dick.
A big dick.
A big dick."
Here's the phrase for you to repeat
now,
whenever.
now he has that to repeat whatever he wants.
A big dick.
Yes.
To which Arrow says, "I'm pretty sure since he's a mouse, he only has a little dick."
Big dick. Little dick.
Littlefoot. Bigfoot.
All right, Altapar. You go to the 10th house to Altapar. Roll me a D100 to see if he's there.
Hell yeah.
He is. I was looking for a 60%. Above a
well.
60%.
We're just
Okay,
meeting all
so,
your standards today, you know.
Alright, you're kind of catching him as he's leaving, I think, to go to a thing. I need to refresh.
Strike just stands before him, crosses his arms, and I like to think that behind him, Berman comes along.
Okay. Where did I put you? All right. So, I need to make some more friends for the 10th house. I'll eventually get to that.
They don't deserve friends.
I would like you to roll me another D100.
Berman, that's for you.
Hell yeah. The D100. Let's go.
Okay. Nothing changes from what you know. So there you go. All right. Altapar is at his desk. You're coming up the stairs as he's getting ready to leave. Oh, I didn't think we had a meeting today, and he almost like goes to his notebook to see if he messed up.
Have a meeting today.
I've brought my lawyer with me.
Well, he's my lawyer too. Isn't that a conflict of interest?
No.
No!
No.
Well, then I might be seeking a new lawyer. He raises his eyebrows.
No.
I, as the Importabo of the 10th house, am allowed to choose those things. Please, I have a important meeting to get to. What is it you need?
Strike places a claw on his shoulder and says, "You're not going anywhere right now."
I need an intimidation check and for you to roll initiative.
Strength or charisma?
Your choice.
Perfect. Add a +6 to that. That's a 17.
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Um,
We are rolling initiative because I need to keep track of. It helps me keep track of a momentum. It's mostly like an intrigue, I'll say. As you threatened this high-ranking man, to not
We fuck him up.
not to do what he wants to do. Um, so he looks confused and has his notebook under his arm and kind of slides under from his armpit into his hand as this happens, and he's about to say something, but Strike, what do you do?
Take the notebook from him.
I would like an
Oh, God.
attack roll versus his strength to
Just
see.
a claw attack or
Yeah, just an unarmed attack to see if you're not doing damage. You're just it's versus your attack roll. All right. So you grab the book and you can decide if you hold it or drop it.
hold it. That's mine now, bitch.
Okay. He.
Damn it.
All right. That's one of your attacks. What do you do?
I just told it, I guess.
You just hold it. Okay. Birdman, what do you do?
Birdman kind of like just strike like bruh, and then like says, uh, Tarask head, baby Tarask head. Any updates?
Um.
And you know what?
mm,
Out of spite, I'm writing in the notebook of this.
Okay, you open it, start to pull out something to write with because there's not a pen right there.
I've got a pen of my own.
Okay, pull out a pen out of your fur somewhere. Birdman, roll up persuasion or intimidation check.
Probably just persuasion because I'm not scary.
Okay, I'll give you.
Just wait till the sun goes down.
Oh sure, do things.
Just wait till the sun. All right, you have advantage because
Oh, I
he's
didn't.
sees this as maybe an easier out than whatever Strike's doing.
Yeah.
Like this makes more logical sense.
Strike really wants to smack his head off.
And when at this point when this is kind of going on, you see a couple other guys in the room kind of shift a little closer to kind of concerned, with what's going on to their quote unquote master. And the head of the Tarask, I don't quite know if I can, if speaking about that here and now is, he shakes his head and kind of moves closer as he looks at Strike and leans in. My
allies have grown curious of the 12th house dealings, I needed to provide some evidence to guarantee their involvement in future dealings. So the skull has been provided as evidence to those allies.
Birdman is like nodding, like, yeah. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. I'm here, like, asking because we're also investigating the 12th house for some shit. Like, he's like, yeah.
It's interesting that even an independent attorney and friend would be so curious. I thought you were a considered and continuous friend of the 12th house, one to keep them out of the courts.
He looks up at the ceiling and, like, gives that little coy look, like, he's my lawyer too.
Oh. Well, Master Strike, I do think we can rely on a little more patient understanding here. I know nothing more about the skull after its fracturing and therefore divvying up to the different houses. And you can see he slipped up there with the word houses. He didn't want to say that. Exactly.
Is that my turn then?
There needs to be one more momentum point to not convince this guy to throw a fireball.
Houses, you
Firebolt, like to not like sick these guys. Like he feels pretty threatened right now. That's why he moved closer instead of away. That's why he leaned in to speak and give what he did. He didn't want to. He's not a fighter. He can fight, but that's not like his first choice most of the time.
And you know what? That's why Strike goes fucking Super Saiyan. Yeah, he hopes to get him to spill the beans. Strike's first stance skyward. He says,
Spill the beans about what in particular?
houses, you say? Why aren't you, you know, a little bit more particular about this?
Oh. See Birdman's eyes, like, widen, like, oh, fuck, this is about to get really bad.
What other specifics can I give other than he asked of the skull? You took my book that has precious information in it for the dealings of my daily life, as well as many of my friends and loved ones.
As he speaks, Strike is noting down everything. He's writing down everything they're discussing in his book.
What else can I say is my point.
Which houses are involved, you little shit?
Roll another intimidation check. This is more with charisma. You're not really using your body, you're more using just your general ambiance here.
Alright, that will do.
15. Okay. I have to open up a new paper that hold on.
Oh no.
More paper.
We're causing different timelines to stretch.
You're causing
Oh no!
things to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Actually, it's pretty fucking good considering my modifier. Please let me there.
Mm-hmm. The 2nd, 9th, and 11th house are mentioned. He holds up like he like counts them out, you know. He doesn't like say the words. He like counts to 1, 2, then counts all the way to 9, then counts all the way to 11. So if anyone's listening, is interspersed and not exactly obvious. So you generally get the impression of those things. Roll a history check to see what you know about those, because we haven't directly dealt with those houses yet.
I'm using an inspiration to give myself advantage on that shit.
Ooh, fuck. I think I should do the same.
Yeah, okay. Ooh,
That's a little better. We'll take
that's
that.
that's only the exact
Great
opposite.
though.
of that.
Yeah, well, that's a little bit better. Yeah, we'll
Okay,
take
I'll
that.
go with the 10 or the 19. You did advantage, right? Yeah.
We both did advantage.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay, so both of you generally know information that is like the specific names of people and what these are. The second house is let me go to my other document. The second house are eclectic pragmaticists that are hyper competitive members that it's based around a meritocracy. You earn your placement in the second house by your actions. Medals of rank within the house are proudly worn, counting down from 10. So you start at 10, going down to 1, being the Binder Lord. It's a very diverse house, but it was initially started by the Renaissance of the area, who helped with their understanding of the waterways to help capture the Tarrasque and lead them to this kind of direction. It is now predominantly Renaissance, human, and dwarf. Are a big part of their culture, but there is a mixture of drow and other races thereafter. The Binder Lord is a high-ranking noble within their culture of Renaissance named Quine, who looks more toad than actual frog. His second in command and personal friend, as well as bodyguard, is this drow named Kindine, who's very young. He's only like 20 years old. He left the house when he was super, super young, but he's a swashbuckler, really good fighter. And the ninth house is a weird. Most people don't know a lot about the ninth house. So you're 19. You know the ninth house is a mixture of dragons, humans, and halfling mostly. Um, Birdman would know with a higher check that it's anyone that has magical blood that they can test. They are specifically a sorcerer guild more than anything. They uh, they have a couple particular sorcerer types that are unique to them in their house, but they accept any uh, because of the heavy dragonborn influence. They were started from the dragonborn that came during the war that started the city 300 years ago or so, that were from the other giant city on this continent called Droln, which is a dragon city. Um, they left behind a contingent of dragonborn, and they kind of created this house, and then they've invited different powerful sorcerers. And the sorcerers in the city here, they take a lot of effort to keep their bloodline pure from this house, to make sure that they don't water down the magic, so to speak, that's in their blood. Their current leader, Birdman knows, is a human named Xantha, uh, and he has a dragonborn that protects him as a sergeant at arms. That's a brass dragonborn. You don't remember his name. Um, and then the 11th house, it's odd that they're working together. The ninth and 11th house, from what Birdman knows, they're usually sort of at odds in the way that you have the philosophical difference between sorcerers and wizards, because the 11th house is predominantly wizards. They have this just philosophical difference of how magic is approached and the purpose of it. So the Confederacy of Wizards, that is the 11th house, they are even more of an enigma than the ninth house with what they do, other than it's led by a very powerful gnome wizard who is a cousin to Anton of the fifth house. Presumably been around as long as Anton have, as some of the few that have been here since the city has started, being, 300 years old or so. He is. You get the impression he's mechanically speaking, this gnome wizard. His name's Orcafor. He's a artificer wizard hybrid by his technological obsession that you hear that is common with his kind of reputation of the city. And that's pretty much what you guys know about the general thing. There's quite a few different wizards, just of all different sorts, that are part of the 11th house. It's just Orcafor is the one that's listed on all the official paperwork that Birdman would be aware of.
Brian, have you noted all of this down?
He puts his finger to his head,
So have I. Strike has written all of it down in the meantime as well. Which is an excuse for Mr. DM to tell me about this letter because I forgot to open editor.
Oh, what again?
Because I forgot to open my editor to write this all down.
I love it. It's the second house.
Lus is the one who's supposed to be taking notes about this session. It was it was given that was what was given to them. So
yeah, just wait a few days. You'll have it. You'll have the notes.
Yeah, we'll have the notes. We'll have the
Well,
notes.
and I'm typing up the thing that I usually do, but second house, because this is just helping me keep track of everything as I have a lot going on right now. But nonetheless, second house, ninth house, and 11th house. Second house are led by Kene, who's a frog, toad, man.
Frog.
Ninth house is led by this human guy. You don't know, you wouldn't know his name. You just know it's a human sorcerer, and the house is sorcerer. In general, any sorcerer is welcome as long as they prove their blood is pure. And then the 11th house hates the ninth house. They are wizards, and they're led by a gnome that's been around for hundreds of years. There's rumors of him outside the city even. He's just this crazy wizard that never dies. It's interesting from Animaesus' point of view when they think about gnomes and elves, when most Animaesus don't live past 70 years. So something that lives that long is probably very odd to them.
And Necromancer, got it.
He's probably. I know he's art. I made him. I know I want to make him part artificer. I know that much. I haven't made him yet, other than his general story.
So Necromancer is probably Steel Defender or Artillerist Artificer. Necromancer, got it.
Either Steel Defender or Alchemist makes a lot of sense to me. For having different tinctures and potions to help bring things back to life.
The problem with Alchemist rules is written is it fucking sucks. You could just take Alchemist tools and be good.
Yeah, well, it's also a flavor thing. But we'll get there when I get there. All right, so Aldebar, by the look on his face, this is definitely him being "Are we done?"
The only other thing that Birdman says is yes. Question. And then he tells him about the information that he has on Hardy. Hardy. Prison. Crimes that I don't know about. 12th house plans to execute him. And he looks like he's hey, I thought he was dead, but our sources said he was dead, but we went and verified it. Kind of like coming back, like because he told us to go verify it.
Yeah.
So he's like, we verified it. He's not dead, but the 12th house plans to execute him for crimes that I don't know about. So
He gets the general gist, I think.
yeah.
But before he answers, he just holds out his hand to Strike for his book.
Strike pockets the book. He's keeping it.
Birdman looks at you like,
Okay.
Birdman's
Reroll
like, no.
initiative. Reroll initiative, everyone. He's not gonna. He wants his book back.
No,
This is-
Birdman would try to get the book back too. He'd be like, Steven.
All right. Yeah.
Whether he hands it to Birdman or hands it to Altapar first. Like
To Brian first.
okay. And then he takes it and he looks through it again. Like what you were writing in the book, right?
Yeah.
He like looks at the did you use a new page or did you like write over some shit?
I used a new page and I ripped that page out.
Okay, I was gonna say because Birdman would rip the page out if you didn't whatever. He'd be like he would ask Altapar like, hey, is it cool if I take this page with me? Like it's kind of weird.
Yeah, Strike doesn't even ask.
Sorry about him.
Altapar just holds his hand out for the book. Is all he's doing.
I give
He's
him his
just
book
holding,
back.
like whatever you do, he's just waiting for the book. And you can see in his other hand, he has fire ignited in his other hand.
I give him the look of like, hey, don't worry about it. I give him his book back.
And
then,
Strike
like-
has his fucking claw ignited.
And then I hand
these guys run forward, and
I put my hand
Altapar puts up his hand too, and he's just like,
I put my hand out to shake his hand, like, hey, don't worry about Strike. He's fucking weird. Eros is busy.
I unfortunately do not have any other gemstones, but I can pay you in another means.
Birdman kind of puts his hands together and bows to him, like later.
Well,
Later.
waiting.
Later. He's like, Birdman's like, no, we could do it later. He's definitely like, yeah, we could talk about it later. You're busy. Go ahead. He kind of just like, go, you're fine.
Okay, he will walk away.
Yeah, he excuses him. He like puts his hand out to Strife, like a mother would put their hand out to their children to say, shut the fuck up.
Reaction attack!
These guys run over to him and they're like, "Are you okay?" and whatnot in common. What are these guys doing? And what do you guys do?
I somehow find a way to get Strike out of this building.
All right, Strike. Do you leave the building when Birdman asks you to leave the building?
Well, with Brian's and Steven's special blend of free scan, I guess they might make it out eventually.
All right, beautiful. Roll me a D100.
Oh, it's your turn.
Alrighty.
Oh,
Holy fuck.
As
These
you
are really
guys-
good or really bad.
As you guys go down the steps, who's in front?
Probably me.
It's in front.
Okay. Birdman, you almost step on a little Putori person. Climbing up the steps as he stumbles up and he just takes a little stumble step back as he stumbles up towards you and looks up at you and
Is
pops
this a
a little
Praetorian that I
flask
may
off the top of something and take
recognize?
this swig. He's like, "Oh, it's you, the Birdman person who we drank that one time."
It's you. And he like looks at because he's little, right? He picks him up. He's like,
Yeah.
hey, buddy.
He kind of drunk stumbly like comes into the. Ooh, I didn't mean to do that. I somehow turned on my
He
TV.
picks him up. He's like, hey, buddy.
He drunk stumbles into your hand and climbs up your wrist a little bit, and he oh, hey bud, whoa, I was just coming to check in with stuff. Haven't done that in I don't know how long, so I thought it was a good idea.
Good idea.
You know, what are you doing here? You're not one of mine, are you? No, you didn't join up with them. You know, trying to be all sneaky, and he waves his fingers like jazz hands.
And then Birdman looks at him and says, sneaky. Puts his hands back up like, oh. He says, Altapar, we had a meeting.
Getting paid, working, doing the shit. I remember when I was doing that stuff.
Mhm.
I don't gotta do shit. It's almost fucking awesome until something was going on and I smell something off and Altapar ain't be telling me everything, maybe. I don't know. Need to check in. Didn't I
He's
already
an
say that?
asshole.
And then
He's alright.
he nods.
He's a human.
Yes.
You two understand that. You know, the humans are just they're weird.
I wholeheartedly agree. Except for some. Specifically thinking of arrows here.
Does Stryker know who this guy is? I don't know if he does.
Frank has no idea, he's just playing
no.
along.
Okay.
Strike has no idea. He just assumes
Hell yeah.
there's Putori
He's just
all
a
in this
ferret.
building.
He's just a ferret.
It's just
dude.
another ferret.
It's
He's
all
just,
good,
as far
yeah.
as he's concerned.
Oh shit.
Stripe just likes to talk to people as long as they're
Yeah.
not assholes like Altapar,
Oh yeah.
or Caravan.
He says,
Carnival. No, Carol's.
Carnival.
Carnival, yeah.
Carrot cake.
And yeah,
Carrot cake.
And then Birdman's like, had a meeting. And then he says, getting paid. And like, it does like a shrug, like, I don't know if I'm getting paid. And then Altapar's a dickhead.
What?
Asshole.
Altapar isn't paying you. You did a job for us?
Yeah, pretty much.
He nods.
That's an interesting pocket there. Hey, you know, something I didn't expect today. Something your DM didn't expect today. This happened.
Oh yes.
So both of you get 3 inspiration points.
Oh, let's go. And then
And
I let him.
He,
I
he
fist bump
basi-
him.
You have somehow weaseled a binder lord into your back pocket.
Weaseled. It's funny because he's a ferret.
Holy fucking rock!
I fist bump him and then I put him down and then we walk away.
And
I
you
say
walk
bye.
away. He skitters into the room, and in the distance you hear, Alzamar, what's this shit about you not paying people?
I'm using 1 inspiration to give the guy advantage from that,
Holy
and I still have 3.
shit.
I love it.
I imagine fucking Strike's like, who was that guy? It's like 10th house. Like,
Yeah, start just plays along.
we're walking out. What's this about you not paying people? Oh shit. Then we walk away.
You know, I love. You know, it's
Hell
awesome.
yeah.
I love it. Okay,
I
so
love you,
you're a bro. I am out of inspiration after that. 'Cause
Let's
that
go.
was completely unexpected. I love it. Okay, so we got a few minutes before I need to pause for today. So the last scene is probably with Eros meeting up with Roxana. And for some training as a bard, and Talaria. And then I would like everyone, also the other 2 of you, Lady Angeles is in the city, and finding her is not necessarily going to be easy. So I was trying to think of how would be an interesting way to do that, and I was looking at the carousing rules in Xanathar's guide, and it allows you to gain contacts that have information or can give you favors based upon their general reputation and contacts within the city. Okay, and you have a bard, 2 bards technically now, because you have a bard training underneath you as Lady
Roxana. And then, so I would like the other people everyone, to make a check, so I can figure out how this week of you guys kind of finding information, and then I think next session we'll pick up like a week later, kind of close to the blood festival, like jump forward in time a little bit. So part of what I want people to kind of think of as we wrap up here is like, what do you do during this week of things? And then the other thing that you need to decide on before you roll this persuasion check is how much gold do you invest in gaining these contacts? Is the other question. Altapar would eventually pay you in the form of a magic item worth 100 gold. I can find one randomly, or if someone has one in mind, I'm fine either way with doing those things. But he would pay you if with that, and then like 100, like like probably like 5 platinum or something. It's a really odd payment to get to like what it is, and then he'll say that's all he has on him right now, and he can get you more in a week, but that's all he can pay is 150 for what you guys have done. So, and he will also confirm later on in that meeting, or a letter, or probably like a letter or something he sends to you, that the ear is legit, and he's confirmed Hardy's assassination, as he puts it.
How
So,
much gold is a piece of platinum?
platinum is 10 gold. So 5 gold is 50 gold. 5 platinum is 50 gold.
Birdman, pick a magic item.
Like
Pick
a magic item around 100 gold. Ooh, I know what it's gonna be
Oh,
because it's
The
hilarious.
Sword of Excalibur. Oh, the discounted version. Gotcha.
discount
It's the
Excalibur.
discount.
It's
Hell
just
yeah.
a sort of caliber.
It's the sword of Caliber. That's funny. All right. Roll
Looks like
me.
we're going shopping.
Roll me a D. 2d12.
Oh,
Someone.
Birdman.
2d12.
Yeah, roll me 2d12.
Damn, son. Hold on.
Oh, you're 1d12? I roll another one.
Okay, I got you. 1d12.
I love it. This makes so much sense.
Uh-oh.
I love when it works the way it's supposed to work. All right,
That's why I do all
so
my characters.
he gives you in this little pouch letter that comes to you later in the evening at your guys' house. In the letter is a little pouch, and in the pouch is a smaller pouch next to the 5 platinum pieces. And what did I do with my pen? There it is. All right. And the pouch has this dust in it, and he posted a label on it to explain what it is, and this is dust of deliciousness, and you see this reddish brown dust, and he explains it can be sprinkled over any edible substance to greatly improve the flavor.
Oh,
The dust
my
also
God.
dulls the eater's senses, so be warned. Anyone eating food treated with this dust has has a disadvantage on, and then mechanically we'll say wisdom ability checks and wisdom saving throws for 1
Oh
hour.
my God,
There's enough dust here for 6 servings.
holy shit.
So
We just invite somebody to dinner.
you can get someone, basically you could woo and or convince someone a lot easier, and use magic on them a lot easier if you bring them over for dinner. Exactly.
Hell yes. We bring them for dinner and then it makes it taste
So
amazing.
And
lowers
they're
their
gonna just take all
inhibitions.
minions.
Hell yes.
and I guess he will leave a footnote. If you would like more gold or profits, I am more amiable to pay you. But I also could provide the recipe to create this, if you would prefer,
Oh
as
my
payment
god.
instead.
We're taking the recipe, right?
Oh yeah, we learn how to make it.
Hell yeah!
What the hell?
Okay.
Just like, oh shit.
So I will
Eros
look
is
up,
gonna be
I will
so
look
jealous.
up exactly what the recipe is and figure out what that is when I have some more time later.
Eros is gonna be so jealous.
But it's gonna be something that does require some sort of Tarrasque part to do it. And
I got plenty of jerky stored up.
yes. For those things. So
Fucking one part Jurassic.
Eros, give us a little rundown montage of the beginning day and then like what you put Roxana through for the rest of the week.
So, it would be as Eros and Solaria would be walking towards the 13th house. There would be discussions about what she knows of the city, as well as anything in particular about bloodbenders, if she would happen to know. Um, get more on that later. And eventually, when getting to the 13th house, would introduce Roxana and Talaria, and then would circle back to Marcello's to give him all the designs, and a lot of it will be Eros kind of talking up every single one of them. Um, I thought of two of the other. I thought of the other two designs of what they would be. Where I'm thinking the one of them would be this kind of a dress turned into a very like a shirt that still has like a formalness to it. It's kind of one of those long sleeves that have a bit of that kind of goes a little bit up the back of your hand to like with a little twine to wrap around the middle finger. One of those things, and then it has like a deep, semi-deep V-neck to at that like kind of that flat bone of the ribs, kind of to that part, and then it goes into a deep V on the back, but it has a little bit of a small coattail kind of thing, so it doesn't like fully split. And then the other outfit was like this kind of simple dress that doesn't have sleeves. Um, it pretty much just covers the torso, but it's more of a wrapping type of thing. Like it covers the chest and goes over one shoulder, but it has like this frill type of pattern that flowers off of the top, and then it wraps one time down onto the waist, so it kind of diagonally crosses, and to create like two triangles on kind of other sides of the hips, and then wraps around the waist to finish off. And this would mostly be for like getting Roxana to think more about how to talk with someone and how to really get into a different mode of speaking. Like, you know, you're trying to get in someone's graces, so you match what they're doing, you match their uh, excitement levels and whatnot. And then like throughout the week it'll be Eros having, like, I imagine Eros is going to use Roxana to do like these mini performances. Um Not like the grandiose things, but more of a VIP type of type of shit,
Mm-hmm.
where she
Which fits with the carousing thing I was thinking.
yeah. So kind of like making sure that Roxana really gets into that, double talk type of way. But there will also be Eros will have Roxana pretty much practice doing to Eros what Eros did to her back in the kitchen. Like
Yeah.
this is how
Seduction techniques.
yeah.
Is how I will write that to remember. So you mean. All right, I love it. Okay. How much gold does the party invest in trying to find Lady Altapar?
Oh, a lot. However much, like as much as I can.
To
I
give you a
guess.
spectrum on what kind of information I guess it will give you access to. At least 10 gold ish will give you access to various lower ranking criminals, laborers, mercenaries, town guards, or other folk who normally frequent like the cheapest taverns in town. 50 gold or more will be people like get high decently ranked guild members, spellcasters of decent renown, town officials, and other folk who, frequent the well kept, like, kind of Harold's Tavern kind of situation. And then you need 250 gold in a week to go carouse the upper class, to like go to the binder lords, kind of, other than Rexani, who just kind of, he enjoys being the tavern master, but like to go to the very upper crust kind of those things, for that. So how much do you want to invest to find Lady Altapar?
Or like
I've
50.
only got 21 gold on me.
Oh, I have a lot of gold. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Some of you saved
Alright.
gold from the character creation.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
got
that's my gold.
So
Some of
what's
us
the
get all of
silver
our
to
gold
gold
from-
again?
it
It's like
takes
10
10
gold.
silver to make a gold.
I have one right
Okay.
here. Okay,
So
you're
I
right,
have
we're
basically
fine.
I basically have 101 gold.
I have a lot of money, guys. I imagine Birdman has like crackhead money. Like it's like under the floorboards and in the coffin. And like,
And
When was the last time
part
Strike
of your carousing check here will be also finding any new jobs too, like that you might want to get with these people to potentially make more money.
Yeah, like I'm a mercenary, and backstory it was explicitly stated that he
You guys have slowed
often took
down
more
time
money.
significantly. You guys have slowed down time significantly too.
It's only
So
been 3 days.
it's only been 3 days.
Actually, this is day 4. Like this is day 4 too.
This is like not a lot of time has gone by since that technical start of the campaign.
Holy shit!
Yeah, in game. So,
I'm to that question. I was going to actually suggest, like, since a lot of the work is, since a lot of what Eris is doing to train Roxana is working at the 13th house and pushing her to patrons over and over, would that, because Eros will be helping out, so Eros would be making some gold off of that too.
Is Eris gonna be a warlock patron?
not exactly.
That's
Eros is not powerful enough yet for that. But okay, you can basically, we can do a double whammy here with this and also have this be the downtime of kind of doing your thingy, doing your general work for what was going on here, which I'm using similar mechanics in it's
in its thingy, but I'm multiplying it based upon where you go to like increase how much you get. Hence why you made a decent amount at Rexani's place. For those things. 25 gold in a day is a lot. For the average person, that is. So
25 gold after just 30 minutes. That was like a
yeah.
30-minute performance in 25 gold. Like
So
Arrows could make bank if she wanted.
you can do a double whammy with that, and I also want another kind of check from Strike for kind of crafting things for his wood carving. I'm thinking for the festival, like you get roped in for maybe a small job to help craft some of the and help practice your wood carving skills in general, carpentry skills in general, I guess. Like craft some of the raised platforms that are being built all around the city to help
All right.
people avoid being drowned by blood.
What check would you like?
For those things. And then Birdman, before we get to that, Birdman, what do you want to do with this week other than carousing? Which I assume all of you are kind of helping with that.
I mean, carousing, yeah, carousing's good, but probably also like looking into Altapar shit, like talking to the 2nd, 9th, and 11th houses to kind of keep the Baby Tarask shit under wraps. Like, get more information about it, probably is what Birdman is doing. Because
Okay.
Eros isn't doing that. Eros is focusing on training her new protege. So I imagine that's probably what Birdman is doing.
Okay, I'm gonna just. It makes the most sense to just have you kind of do like a carousing check kind of twice. Would make the
Yep.
most sense because carousing check is all about getting information
Yeah.
in the long run. So, but okay, so I want everyone to roll a persuasion check. The highest is, of course, the better with this for your general week of just like interacting with people. And how much gold are we throwing at this?
You said 50 gold. I could find like ranked house members. I'm not trying to talk to Binder.
Wait,
Not
wait,
like
wait.
you at 50 gold, you could talk to ranked members of the houses, not like a binder lord, not like Altapar,
Yeah,
but
I'm not trying to talk to the Binder
like
Lords. I don't
people
want
that
them
they
involved.
order around
Yeah.
with a
Persuasion for wood carving?
No, this is for the carousing.
How much?
Yeah, okay.
How much silver is a gold again? Did you
10.
say like 10? Okay.
So
So,
So 50 gold is
I would kind of
take
need to.
500 silver is 50 gold.
yeah. I could just give you 50 gold too, to be fair. But yeah, I'd probably just spend the 50 gold. I'm not trying to talk to Binder Lords. I don't want to get them involved with some shit like this because if they get involved, then Altapar might get involved, and that would suck. I don't want Altapar to know that his wife might still be alive.
Yeah. Okay.
How much gold Eros would spend depends on how much she would make throughout the week. So, like, if we, I don't know, we could roll a check too for that
Okay.
as well.
Let me roll my persuasion.
Okay. That makes sense. That totally makes sense. Okay, so let me, so I don't get confused. Type carousing there. All right.
So I rolled a 20 for the wood carving / carpenter thing for strength, or if you want something else, you can just add or subtract.
No, that's cool. That makes sense. I would like now then a performance check from with advantage because you have Roxana with you, Eros, for your kind of work that week. And then I would like another persuasion, another charisma check of your choice, Birdman, to kind of gain more information from those houses you mentioned.
Another charisma check of my choice.
Mm-hmm.
What about deception?
Totally works. Makes
Hell
sense.
yes.
Because you're trying to not let them know that Lady Altapar is alive all at the same time.
Yes.
Totally makes sense. Okay. All right. All right. Baby steps, Seth. Baby steps.
Can the kids help with the building stuff and earn some pocket money?
Okay, I would like each of you to roll a D100 for the carousing. Yes, yes. Okay. Good week. You guys meet lots of people that you can connect with on the whole. So strike go to Lust first. Lust rolled the 28. Um
Jeez.
Lust, you your work. You wanted to go, let's go to work
Yeah.
first. All right, so performance 21. Nice. This week, just kind of you and Roxana doing kind of general things, taking your cut and giving your cut to Rexani. Need to open my player's handbook to look up something.
Like I did I ran the calculations and like if Arrows busted her ass and did like those 30-minute performances for like a few hours a day, she could easily make 2,000 gold in a week. If she like pushed
No,
herself.
it's not gonna happen every.
Well, yeah,
Um,
but that's like the highest end.
Do we have that magic item vendor that we discussed
Ooh.
prior to the campaign?
I
hmm?
don't think we had a magic item vendor.
No.
Well, we did have Trusty Patches discussed at least.
You haven't gone to a magic place yet. I haven't decided how
We
strong I
can
want to
though.
make
That's
it
definitely
here.
something we can do.
Okay. Lust, you make about 200 gold
Hmm.
during the week. And you're carousing. If you just write off the 50 gold that he spends, you are decently. They just won't be very high ranking contacts. They'll be
Well,
middle rank contacts. It just
I'm
depends.
spending 100 gold on that.
Okay. So with the 100 gold, okay. Birdman rolled a 16. And Strike rolled a 16 as well. Okay. So altogether, you know,
Oh, also, Lust, add like 150 gold for yourself too, because I would have split the 250 that we got from Altapar before.
Ah.
Yeah, I give 100 to myself because it would have been 150, 150. And then we had to give a dude an extra gem, so
Hmm.
Birdman will give a gem from his pocket.
Well, in that
Okay.
case, I'm adding another 50 gold. So that's
Get
100
an extra
gold
50 gold, yeah. Because I just thought about it. I was like, oh, I have that 250 gold that Altapar gave us, and I was like, oh wait, no, it was 300, and I never split it.
well,
So, and then we also get the extra 5 platinum too, which is another
okay.
gold split between me and Strike, I guess. So,
Strike doesn't cut much care for material wealth as long as he gets to feed himself and family.
you snooze, you
Okay.
lose, dude. Then I'll take the extra 50 gold. Works for me.
Take it. Take it.
Hell yeah.
All
More
right.
crackhead money.
You have gained. Each of you gain at least one contact with what you roll of someone in the upper crust that you seems to have some sort of connection to Lady Altapar and might know some further information that you guys can press into when we come back next week. Lust is able to get 3 different contacts with these things, and these are people in the upper crust, like of society, not necessarily binder lords themselves, but people that either work very close to them or are high ranking nobles in favor with whatever binder lord for whatever situation. And then
Brandon
Yo.
Birdman is in this week able to arrange one meeting in such short notice to kind of get information about the 12th house. Who do you want to meet with this week?
Oh man, about the
For
12th
next
house?
Yeah. What other house would you like have arranged a meeting with this week? What's on your top of your list?
Ooh, we'll talk to 11th. They're a bunch of nerds.
Okay,
So we'll
11th
talk to them.
house with the wizards. So next
Yeah.
week we'll do a meeting with the wizards for you to kind of gain more information about what they know about the 12th house.
Yep. Bunch of nerds.
Bunch of nerds indeed. All right. And then Strike makes 20. Okay.
It's a 95. You gotta give me something good for that.
What?
Gotta split at
Well,
least 5 ways, remember?
Well, the 95 was just to make sure you didn't roll low. If you rolled low, then complications arise. And I get to create rivals and things that want to, perform better than you.
Just
Oh,
an
no.
excuse to kill some shit.
Okay.
Careful,
Interesting.
the last rival I had got
Well,
absolutely
Strike makes about 5 gold this week just doing things around the city. And you make significant headway into your general workmanship and recognition as someone that can do these things within the city. So
So it's
you
1 gold for each of the kiddos.
right. There you go. Right. And then so when we come back next week, we will be a couple days before the Festival of Blood. Talaria will be assisting with kind of helping you guys through some of this. I think, which makes logical sense. And then, yeah,